Yippee-ki-yay, and welcome to episode 28 of It's All Geek to Me, the pop culture chat show where three friends with varying degrees of nerd knowledge get together once a week to have a chat about all things geek. My name is Rich Gittins, and joining me this week and pretty much every week is my buddy Chris Lum. Come on out, Lummy.
Hello.
Hey up, Chris. How you doing? Yeah, all good,
right.
thank you very much. Yeah, good. How was your gig last week? I know you popped in and out a little bit.
I did. I popped in to see what you're all up to. I watched you while I were gigging as well, while other stand-ups were on.
Oh, were they that bad?
Well, I'd seen them all before, so you think, where'd all this before, love?
Well, you mean that stand-up comedians don't come up with new material every single gig that they do?
Believe it or not, I'll dispel a myth, but no, they don't.
Oh, right. Oh, so it's pretty... Oh.
When they say stuff like, this happened to me yesterday, you're like, no, I didn't.
Tricks of the trade. Tricks of the trade.
I'll tell you what I did do today. I took my car in for MOT and found out I'd gone in the wrong month.
Oh, like late or early?
It was due to expire on August the 16th, and for some reason I'd put it in my diary, July 16th. And then I thought, I'll get in early, get it MOT'd, and I took it in within 5 minutes of taking it in. The guy rung me and went, you do know this is due in August? I went, do it anyway, it's fine, I know what I'm doing.
Well, at least you didn't do it the month, like the month, because I had the lockdown 1.0. My mate Craig, he was due to get married, and he got a phone call from the reception venue telling him that they had to cancel their wedding reception in June, and he was like, I was getting married in July. He booked it all wrong, so it's like fuck for COVID. Yeah, right. You know, his wife to be saw the funny side of it, in the midst of a pandemic.
Well, that'll last then if she saw the funny side of that.
Absolutely. Should we bring him out? Should we bring out little Webby?
Yeah,
little Nathan Webb.
Let's see what mood he's in.
Little backwards baseball cap wearing Nathan Webb. All right, Webby, how are you, love?
I'm great. Yeah, thanks.
Good.
Thanks for that. Thanks for the undermining before I even fucking come on the show. I'm not your little Alex Horn. You can suck a bag of dicks if you think that's going to go down.
You're talking to Lummy, not me, right?
I'm talking to the twat sat right there in the Back to the Future t-shirt, stealing from Greg Davies like he's some big man.
What?
Big man. Come on, big man. Bring it at me. Show me. Give me some more Greg Davies.
Oh, is it because I called you Little Nathan Webb?
Yeah.
Stealer. I thought you were getting upset because Lummy was all like, oh, what movie
How can I be upset at that face? How can I be upset at that face? Look at him. He's as innocent as the day is long.
He won't be upset when I show him what I got him.
I'm not gonna be upset. Oh, yeah. I wasn't upset anyway, to be fair.
I know, but, I saw
I am blown away by these lazy comedians reusing the same jokes. That's crazy.
Look what I found. I went to Nesborough on Sunday. I was just having a coffee, right? And I found that in a charity shop for your web.
Look at that.
Look at that.
I used to have that.
You've got it again. I'm going to give that to you when I see you next.
Do you know that bloody Muppets group that you told me about on Facebook? They never stop posting shit.
But
some of it's mildly interesting. There's like some rare photos and little rare videos and stuff. But they never let up, man. And they're always like, "Look what I found in the thrift shop," and them Palisades Muppets that I collect.
Yeah.
Somebody found the animal that comes with the drop. Is it even not even been done?
No, it has.
Somebody coloured it in a bit. What would I say? Yeah, somebody found for $20. They found that animal with the complete drum set in the box in a charity shop. It's worth about £200. Jeez. Boxed. Yeah, so
it's all Americans are in it in the thrift stores. Like you say, they're not that good over here. You go and there's like a copy of the Beano book and and several copies of the Da Vinci Code, no doubt. Yeah.
And whatever bestseller came out last year that everybody's now got rid of. Loads of biographies by comedians that released a biography way too soon.
Oh, I'll tell you what there always is, that Peter Kay book. Do you remember that first one he did?
that one where I've read a bit of it. And
Saturday Night Peter. Always in there.
Oh, it might not. No, it might not be that one I'm thinking of.
But there were about 1 billion copies of it, and everybody had it, so it's always in there.
Anyway, how you doing this week, Webby? How you doing this week, Webby?
Man, I'm all right. I'm loving British summertime. I'm loving feeling the love from the supporters of the football that hate football and people who play football. I don't understand what they're on about, man. Like, if a person is on your team scoring a goal, who gives a shit what colour the skin is? They're doing you a favour, mate. You know what I mean? Have a bit of gratitude.
It's funny, isn't it?
I got a bit topical, but I don't watch football, and it blows me away that people think they love football, but they actually just seem to hate everything.
Yeah, I think some people. I mean, I'm a big football fan, but I think there is a certain section of the football fan base. I'm using the kind of the umbrella term that will probably not be a massive fan of football, but will like the camaraderie of going and having mates and feeling like you're popular and not being alone. And I do think there is a sort of element of that to it, just as there's an element that is sort of a bit knuckle draggy and racist, and an overwhelming majority of people who are just lovely and want to go and cheer on the team. I mean, I saw a really lovely tweet yesterday from a mate of mine, a black guy who's a director, and he was sat in one of those box park outdoor venues with like hundreds of people watching the game. And when the players took the knee, he said he felt his bottom just sort of clench up a little bit. And he said, because he was the only black guy in this whole venue, and he said everyone just stood up and just gave them all a round of applause. And I was like, man, that's the kind of content I'm here for, Dwayne. I love that. That's nice.
I mean, I watched the match, and I was so bewildered by it all. When they were booing, I genuinely thought they were booing every time Italy got a hold of the ball, and I was like, "You bunch of fucking children!" But it wasn't that, and I've stand corrected. But yeah, it's an odd world. I am missing
a strange one.
There was all the footage of all the arseholes as well, weren't they?
The ticketless people. Yeah. Well, look, there was I got sent some footage of. It was all over Twitter, and it was the pub that I used to live next door to in Finsbury Park. And the queue was like 200 meters long for this pub at 8 a.m. It had started at 6 a.m, this queue, and the pub didn't open till 1. And I was just like, there's going to be people who will have watched the game, but will never remember watching that game because they're going to be so drunk. But it's that thing, isn't it? First cup final in 55 years, you know, the week before Freedom Day and after 16 months of being locked in. I mean, it's always going to be a recipe for disaster for some people, isn't it?
It won't make any difference if it were that anyway. They're always like that.
It seems to be the same sort of people every time.
No, the ones who kind of spoil it for everybody else, the ones who just go out looking for fights, and it's like, why don't you fucking grow up, all of you? How old are you?
Yeah, no, exactly.
6-year-old stomping on somebody's head. You think,
and you know what, Lum, as well. The footage I saw was of them attacking each other because nobody were fighting them; they were fighting themselves. England fans fighting other England fans.
Which was that in the street or at the train station, not the one at the stadium, because there was a load of people who'd gotten into the stadium.
Might have been the stadium.
So basically,
they rushed the doors without
tickets. But what happened was you had a load of your old firm boys from your sort of domestic leagues who were there, who were sort of probably a bit bored and thought, we're going to help with security, you know, and they decided they were going to do it. Go on.
Nat's here. Hey up, Nat.
Yes, Nat, you're absolutely right.
Perfectly right. Perfectly right.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
I miss you like balls today, Nat. Where are you?
Hang on a minute. Can we just address this? Martin's chimed in. Bring back Nat. I mean, all right. All right. Come on, Nat. Get yourself off.
I knew that had happened.
I might be able to remove him permanently.
No, you're not.
Yeah. Just add Nat again. Miss you, Nat.
Come on, Nat. Where are you, big man?
Miss you. Like the desert.
Welcome, Nat. Welcome, Martin. Welcome to everybody to the show this week. Feel free to drop a comment down below. We're trying to build a community here to make our wealth of knowledge much richer. So yeah, feel free to drop a comment below.
If Nat's not in that community, Lummy's happy as long as she's not in there.
Come on, Nat, you've got the link.
Come on, Nat, you can do it. You can do it. Join us, Nat. Join us.
Oh, she might not be camera ready. You know what she's like.
Nat is always. Nat's always camera ready.
You know.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome, Embo. welcome to the show, everyone.
Oh, bless. Do you know what? I think she could replace any one of us and nobody would give two shits.
Hey, cool gang. How the heck are you? Lovely to have you joining the show this week.
Cool gang would like to say,
yay.
Did the Cool Gang turn up last week, or is this just...
No. The cool, they watched the show last week, but the cool gang, Oh, that's nice. Welcome, cool gang. I like your new profile.
Welcome.
It's good.
You ain't got 2 minutes. You ain't got 2 minutes.
Kidding. She's teasing us. Teasing us.
Don't be like that.
So what's happening, dudes? I mean, I don't want to talk about the football anymore.
Whoa. Are you a guy with a rep for being rude? Terrorizing people wherever they go, not intentional, just keeping the flow, mixing test scores to get the best scores, dropping banana peels all over the floor. Are you the only kid to get a C in art? First name Simpson, last name? No?
What the fuck are you talking about?
You just said, yo, what's happening, dudes? I'm a guy with a
You
rep
did
for
the
being
entire
rude.
rap from Bartman 30 years
Yeah,
old.
well, not the entire one. Not the entire one. Half it. Lummy got it. Lummy knew what was going on.
What my point was, let's not give the football any more attention than it's already gotten from us. I'm sorry I brought it up.
Stop talking about it then.
Sorry I brought it up.
Gentlemen, it's been, we said we were going to push all the news to this week, but actually there wasn't a huge amount of news this week, did we? Because it was Independence Day July the 4th last week. So generally a bit of a slow news week. But Webby, guess where Lummy's been this week? Guess where Lummy's been?
Wherever Harrison Ford's been.
Lummy's been to Glasgow.
Lummy's been,
I don't know. Lummy's been to Glasgow. And he has been stalking Harrison Ford again. Haven't you, Lummy? So what did you see while you were in Glasgow?
I never go back to Glasgow. I used to go to Glasgow on a regular basis. I hate it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
got the worst.
Hello to all of our viewers in Glasgow.
Sorry, it's only a personal choice. It's a personal choice. That's why I hate it. But
I've only been there once, and I went to see Billy Connolly in Glasgow, which is where he's from, and it was like a little homecoming gig, and it was absolutely wonderful. I don't remember what Glasgow looked like. I was so excited to see Billy Connolly, and as soon as you came out of his gig, I honestly couldn't tell you a single thing he said that night. It's like you literally you get total amnesia about his gig. It's like some sort of mojo he puts on you so you don't repeat any of his jokes. So you got to tell everybody, oh yeah, was he any good? Yeah, he was amazing. What did he do? No idea. I haven't got a single clue.
Well, when Lummy was in Glasgow, he sent me the pictures earlier on. He saw this. Oh, and he saw this. Oh, so it's signs of a ticker tape parade. So I think it's going to be after the homecoming from the Vietnam War, they think.
No.
How can it be? No, it's not the Vietnam War.
Is it Vietnam?
It's when they come home from the moon. They're welcoming Buzz Aldrin back and everybody.
Yeah.
Hang on. The war in Vietnam. Social
it's
crisis
on. It's
at home.
still on.
It's on.
War in,
right,
yeah,
okay.
the war in
Vietnam.
On,
That's it. And
it's weird how they feel like
there he is with his sling.
It feels like I can't believe they feel like Glasgow these days looks like America in the 60s.
Strange place,
so much.
I mean,
you've not got one of the most important pictures that were leaked, which I'm going to go find.
What do you mean you're going to go find? You mean you're going to upload from your phone? I mean, you sent them to me, Lummy. It's the last one. That's the last one that you sent me.
I didn't send you all.
Oh, come on, Lummy. Christ, man.
Let's not argue about Harrison Ford.
Come on. I'm finding the one that actually tells you about the moon mission that I thought you had it. I'll keep talking once you say.
No, there was a poster in the shop of the window of the shop that had "Welcome back, Buzz Aldrin." And
is that one there?
Yeah, I showed that.
The first one he showed, I think. I don't know if you've missed it, Lum.
Oh, sorry.
But yeah, I mean, bloody hell, we're actually watching this film in slow motion.
That one.
6 or 7 months.
Welcome home. So yeah, after moon mission.
There you are, Lummy. You did send it to me. So, what news have we got about Indiana Jones? There's lots of rumors going around, obviously. I mean, I read a rumor about Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character potentially being Indiana Jones's daughter, because she's referenced in him having a daughter's reference in Indiana Jones Chronicles. No, it wasn't Chronicles. What was the Indiana Jones series that they did? No,
it was Chronicles, but they chopped the bookends off of it. So they had the old guy in it, but then they got rid of them. So I guess they're not canon.
Right. Okay.
Well, there's a thing saying that she's just like a British museum worker or something who comes to ask him about something, which would make more sense because
it would.
She's not
it would make a lot more sense.
Surely they'd have to talk about the brother as well.
Yeah.
What's he called?
I mean, he's called
Mutt,
isn't he? Yeah.
Williams.
I mean, do you think Mutt is his full Christian name?
Do you think it's some sort of play on the dog thing?
That's a great shout. No, that's a really good shout.
From 2011, because obviously.
That's a great shout.
Or, I mean, it could be that like he gave himself a greaser hardman name because he'd watched the Wild Ones with Marlon Brando, because he's based his character all around that. You know, it's the way he's sitting on the bike and wearing the leather jacket and smoking, greased back his hair. Maybe it's a sort of a hardman biker name he's giving himself. I don't know.
I had an idea for this week, by the way, gents. I just thought it might be quite nice if any of our community had any questions for any of us, because normally, you know, we're the ones doing all the question asking and they just leaving comments. If any of them had any questions for us,
well,
like,
Martin's
hey, let me show you this, lad. See what you think of that. See my arm?
No, I haven't. What the? What's that?
Look at that. Look at that.
Joe?
Right?
Did Joe do that?
No, I'll tell you what happened. Last week, I decided to go for a bit of an MOT.
So, yeah. Blink 18 times.
So, well, if you stop this, if you watch it back later on and I've accidentally blinked 18 times, I might have sent a false message out. No, I went to the glorious NHS last week for a bit of an MOT just to check everything were all right, get some blood tests done. I have never had a blood test ever that has made me. I don't even bruise like that. I've never bruised like that in my life, and it's spreading day by. Yeah, it fucking kills. I got it done on Thursday. It absolutely kills.
Wow! Did they do the thing where they put a needle in and then?
Yeah, as well.
The vampire gave you the blood.
There were a little mountain under my arm, and I went, "Huh? What? That's weird. I've never seen that before." She went, "Oh, yeah, I must have it's just a bit of blood under the skin." And a couple of days later, we're like, "A bit of blood." My Lord, it looks like awesome Hollywood makeup.
So did they do that thing where they leave the needle in and they keep attaching bottles and just keep sucking blood out?
Yeah. But I think she was knocking it about and I didn't feel it because I'm so tough.
Yeah, you are. They say that about you. Yeah. We call you, we call you Fido. So
yeah. You know, if this were 1950 something, I'd be the first one on a motorbike with a slick back hair and a leather jacket.
I remember your college days.
And you guys would be going, you guys would be going, Webby's changed. And
actually, I remember.
It's not called Webby anymore. It's called Fido.
Do you remember Fido when you had a biker's leather jacket?
It wasn't a biker's leather jacket. It was way less manly than that. It was a dress cut, sort of 3/4 length. Tailored.
That's not what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that night at the Faversham.
No.
Do you not remember? Webby and I.
You literally could make up whatever you want now, Rick.
Okay. So one night, I think it might have been around your 21st birthday or my 21st birthday. And I think it was yours though. And me and you went and got wasted as we kind of used to do when we were young at the Faversham. And we were a lot younger. This is like half our life ago. And you saw like a biker's awesome kind of metal leather jacket left on the back of a chair and nobody was around. So on our way out, you decided to nab this leather jacket. And we were like, yeah, oh guys, it's really funny. Put it on. And you put it on. And it came up to there and it was a lady's leather jacket. It had tassels, everything on the back. It was brilliant.
Right.
Kept it, yeah. I still wear it now.
Why not? Big T Moores chimed in.
Hey, Big T.
So, been back now.
Oh, mate, I'm sorry.
I didn't know I was going to get all this abuse tonight.
Yeah, we didn't know she was so fucking charismatic, to be honest. I mean, we had an inkling. We've watched
it must have been a slow week. That's all I'm saying.
No, do you know what it was? I think because we all like Harry Potter. It just it was just nice.
I did watch it back, his show, for about 10 minutes.
Until we got to talking about Harry Potter.
Yeah,
and then you just went...
Fucking nerds.
We came to the conclusion afterwards, Lum, that if you'd have read them rather than been exposed to the bloody films, I think you'd have been into them.
Have
There's
you
no
seen
way
the
you couldn't
films,
have been.
Lummy?
I have seen the film. I'm going to pick you up on that. You claimed I'd not seen any of the films, Rich. I was like, whoa!
I didn't think you had seen them.
I've seen them all. I've
All
seen them all. I've not watched stuff. I've seen them.
No, I think you should give them a read, mate. I think you might like them.
Do you know what? Actually, do you know what I think you'd like if you can get hold of a copy of it rather than the books, because it's just really palatable. You can just have it on while you're going about your business. Are the audio books? Because Stephen Fry reading those books is brilliant. Since the show last week, I've started them again, and they're awesome.
I'll tell you, I won't listen to them versions, but I will listen to the American versions read by Jim Dale.
Oh, really?
Jim Dale, that name sounds familiar.
Wait, really? He does the American. There is an American version. Stephen Fry doesn't. Weird.
Remind me who he is. Who is he?
Carry On films. Jim Dale. He's British as well. It's all.
That's really weird. Why is he
weird?
Yeah.
I do like a good audio book.
And then they got Stephen Fry to do his version.
Oh, really?
They're not Potter trivia. You don't know. Maybe I'm useful on the show after all.
That's interesting.
Well, we didn't ask you to have a week off.
No.
I know.
Oh, I know who he is. Yeah, bloody hell. Okay. That's true. Come on, my bruise would be much worse if it was one.
He's been mainlining Lego. That's where the bruise came from. So this little. That's bad, man. My girlfriend, after having the first AstraZeneca jab, under one of her tattoos on her arm, there are loads of lumps underneath it. And the dermatologist thinks she's had a reaction to it's affected her immune system because it was a new type of tattooing, and she just can't get rid of it. She's using
a new type of tattooing.
Yeah, within the last few years.
Has anybody seen this trailer for
I have not seen. I don't know what If is. What is What If?
What If is a cartoon series coming to Disney Plus where they reimagine some of the biggest roles in. It's a What If show. So I think in one of them, for example, Star-Lord is Black Panther. There's the same character, but when he takes his helmet off, it's T'Challa there. So they mixed up a lot of things. You got Captain
America as well.
Captain Britain. Right. British Captain America, yeah. There's all sorts going on in it. The trailer's pretty good, man. It looks all right. And they've got the complete voice cast as well. The voice cast is everyone from the films. It's insane. Even Chadwick Boseman, I think it's one of his last things he did before he died.
Oh, man. Wow. Have you guys seen Black Widow yet?
It's not out yet.
I thought it was out.
It's Premiere Access only, so it's Disney Plus. You got to pay for it. It's a double plus.
I see.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably on Pirate Bay and stuff, but from what I've heard, I'm not going to rush towards it. Taking my sweet time with Loki as well. That's not really moving me as much as I thought it was going to.
Right. Thank you, Martin. Wow.
Yeah, it's quite weird. I think that's quite haunting. That.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's been over a year since he died, isn't it? So it's just strange. What about hi, Nat?
Hi, Nat. Wow.
You know what I mean?
This is taking a nasty turn.
Can't even spell your surname, Lummy.
She can't be arsed. He don't deserve it.
You know me.
Shall I go to the beat? No, just keep my finger on M instead.
There's a clue on the screen how to even spell it. You know what I mean?
Is that clue the spelling of your name?
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't realise you were only mates with people that could spell your name accurately.
I am.
Is that the movie that's just come out onto Amazon Prime that has got
Chris Pratt?
Chris Pratt, yeah.
And it must have done all right because within 2-3 days of it being out, they're already talking about a sequel for it. So it must.
Really?
I'm feeling it might be all right. Was it all right? Who put that? Was it Big T?
Yeah.
Was it okay? Big T. Was it good? I really enjoyed it. Okay.
I
have always flipped between, with regards to Deckard being a replicant, I've always flipped between the two ideas because I'm quite interested in the fact that, I can't remember what the argument started about now. Was it Harrison Ford who said he was or wasn't? He didn't want to be. Harrison Ford started an argument with Ridley Scott about whether
he didn't want to be a replicant, did he? He didn't want to be it because he said, I can't do a character.
So in the theatrical cut, from what I remember, there's not as much stuff that leads you to believe he might be an android. But in the director's cut, Ridley Scott was like, "Fuck you," and he stuck it all back in there, all the paper origami, unicorns, and weird dream sequences and stuff. So, and in the book, he was, I believe.
Martin's asked us this: if you were a character in a franchise, who would you be, and not Indiana Jones?
Now, when I was a kid, it would have been Indiana Jones.
Mate, I'd have happily been. Oh, has it got to be a franchise?
Well,
it's in the question.
Franchise,
the franchise.
Okay, well, you can do both franchise and non-franchise.
Well, my brain just went straight away to I would be any of the Goonies, any of them, just to hang out with them lot, just be mates with them, go on adventures,
that's
bury treasure
news,
and shit.
Did you cover that last week, Richard?
No, we didn't do any news.
Oh, Richard Donner, yeah.
No, of course no, but it did go up on our Facebook page, didn't it?
Yeah.
You know, I'd like to be in Ghostbusters. Maybe I don't know. Maybe. I mean, Peter Venkman's cool, isn't he? But he's not as well. He's really sad. But I don't know. That's a tough one. There's so many to choose from. And because we did a very heavy Harry Potter show last week, and I've been listening to lots of Harry Potter this week, I can only think about Harry Potter at the minute. What about you, Lummy? Who would you be?
Does Martin mean playing the character or actually being the, like, if you've got the powers?
Just use your imagination.
Use your imagination. Answer it how you want to answer it, Lummy. Don't imprison yourself.
I can see you as the fourth amigo, mate. Stick yourself shoe on in, 4 amigos, and there's Lummy on the end.
You'd be one of the Star Wars dudes, wouldn't you? It's pretty easy.
Would you? See, I've got this theory that you've got to be careful what you wish for.
Spider-Man. No, I'll be Spider-Man.
Yeah, all right.
For a swing through
Spider-Man. I always felt like I nearly said Game of Thrones, but I realised that 3 of us would be dead in Game of Thrones world within a matter of seconds of any episode. We'd be just getting taken out left, right, and centre by arbitrary things falling on us and shit.
It's funny because we're not allowed to pick Indiana Jones, and I totally get that. I totally get why. But every other character I can think of is actually quite sad and quite tragic. So, like Batman seems like a really, really tragic kind of dark. Not very happy character. Peter Venkman,
Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones always seems really fucking, really grumpy, really hard to get close to.
But I am kind of cantankerous anyway, so
you both talk over each other. That always works.
He don't stay still. Do you know what I mean? I haven't really got a home, has he? Because he's always off adventuring. So yeah, I couldn't say I want to be indie. Maybe short round.
The thing is, though, anybody can be Indiana Jones because it's just an archaeologist who kicks fuck out of Nazis. So. Just go find some of them to beat you up and you're laughing.
All right.
Well, after you've beat him
it's
up.
like you want some superpowers, don't you? If you're going to be a character, I guess, in real life. You'd want some...
That's a good point. Yeah, do you want superpowers? Yeah.
I might be a bad guy. You might be interested to be the Joker or something like that, just for a bit. Just to try out walking a mile or 2 in their shoes.
Yeah, Hans Gruber or someone like that.
Yeah.
Where have you got a baby?
You got a baby Roe.
Does it mean a baby Ruth from Goonies?
Is that what he means?
I had a baby Ruth. They're really horrible.
Yeah,
they're not nice.
Peanuts.
American chocolate tastes
they
like
are
Parmesan.
kind of nougat-y kind of. Yeah, it's just It's like a.
Yeah.
It's not great.
I've only ever tried bad American chocolate because whenever I've tried it and it's been exported over here, it tastes like Parmesan. It's got a weird taste to it. I'm not sure.
I just figured that Sloth
me too,
had never
mate.
eaten any decent chocolate.
Improvised it as well, didn't? Well, he didn't improvise it. He came up with it, and then when they filmed it, it was like, "Can I try this?" And they were like, "Oh, that sounds good," and it stuck. It stuck.
Cool. Flashbacks, Police Academy show. Did anyone see the footage?
I did, and I told you about
weirdly,
it.
Yeah. We were talking about that the other day.
We were talking about how being in Police Academy affects the actor, right? And how not many people have managed to sustain a big career. And the person we could come up with that was a good example of actually breaking that mold was Michael Winslow, even though I disputed that because I don't think he is that. He's famous from Police Academy still. Anyway, he can't be doing that well. He was on America's Got Talent, man. It was really strange. Yeah. Like this year. This year. But
apparently Simon Cowell was like, wait, I know you don't know.
I felt like a bit of a twat then because when Simon Cowell's saying, well, what are you doing here? I remember you from Police Academy. And I was like, oh, thanks, man. I love those movies. Yeah. And then they asked him how many he did and why he quit. And he quit because his wife died and he stayed home to raise his kids. So I felt like a right bastard then because I was
Well,
like,
he didn't quit because they didn't make any more. He were in them all.
No, I mean he quit the movie business, man. He didn't go for any more parts. He just didn't bother because he had kids to look after and no wife. So I felt a bit evil about it. But yeah, he's still good at making them voices.
So is that what he did? He literally just did his
act. Yeah.
But it's like, did he get through?
I don't know. I don't know if it's over yet, mate. I don't know when this was from. I knew it was this year, but I don't know if it's been to the finals. I have no idea. I'm not watching it.
I imagine that if it revitalized his career. Because there was that footage of him doing a whole lot of love on a talk show, and it came out a few years ago. And it was all these people and there's all these people who'd never seen Police Academy, who'd never heard of this guy before, who were like sharing the shit out of it on Facebook and social media. They were like, "Oh my god, my mind's blown! Who's this guy?" And everyone was like,
"I've got two of his stand-up specials. They're pretty good. You know, they're all right." But
are they, Lummy?
They take a bit of watching. He does his Jimi Hendrix, and it's like so long that you've got to switch it off and watch it in 2 parts because it's quite like long.
On the Australian one, it was with a guitarist, wasn't he? And the guitarist just playing like the chords and the rhythm for it, and he's doing the lead solo over the top. It worked quite well.
No, that's not the one I saw then. It's a different one. That's him doing the whole thing by himself.
Oh,
and he's just sat there doing it. It's really good.
Yeah, the guitarist on the one I've seen.
Oh.
Yeah.
Got a big team more. Webby, which book would you like to turn into a movie, TV show?
Boom, got it. Got it.
Oh, hang on then. Let's do it one at a time. This.
I've got it. Just before it leaves me head, I'd like to turn the King Killer Chronicles into a TV show. I don't know why it hasn't happened yet. If nobody's read The Name of the Wind and the second one, The Wise Man's Fear, third one still to come out. Oh my God. Amazing books. They make Harry Potter look like a wet lettuce. They really do.
I always thought they should do some books of. Do you remember? Did you have them at school? Billy Blue Art and Roger Red Art.
Yeah.
That'd be a great franchise. I mean,
I think just if anybody out there has actually read those books, if you haven't, pick them up. Especially if you're a geek, they're made for geeks. They're absolutely brilliant.
Billy Blue Art and Roger Red Art.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, and I love Biff's new bike as well. That's amazing. No, the King Killer Chronicles, I think they are actually talking about making it into a show, and Lin-Manuel Miranda, the guy who's attached to all the stuff that I love.
Who you didn't actually really like originally, did you? You weren't a fan of him.
I have to say he's won me over massively.
His performances...
Mary Poppins.
He was all right in that. But
his performances in...
Mary Poppins, man, when I just heard the guy's name, I was like, who is this upstart? How dare he? But then I saw a bit of Hamilton. I was like, right, fair play. He's a really good writer. And then he did Moana, which has got some of the best Disney songs in it. He's in Dark Materials, which obviously is right up my street. And he's just attached to quite a few things. I think we've got a similar taste in things. You know, he's attached to a few projects I've wanted to see get off the ground for a while.
I thought you were going to say attached to a few projects I've greenlit or something.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I have in the sense that nobody's asked me, but if they do ask me, I'll just say, yeah. You know, I'm not going to give them any money or any time, but if they want to ask me what I think.
Would you go back to that dream of musical theatre?
Me?
You got asked if he'd come round and went, I need you.
Would I sing on stage again? Yeah, I would. I miss it sometimes. I do.
Right.
I do. It's the only thing I've ever felt remotely good at is singing.
We'll get you back.
So yeah, I do miss it occasionally. But yeah, I'd be in your musical. What's it called?
Nat's chimed in again. Look.
Oh yeah, we were talking about him last week because we discovered me and Nat have got some common interest areas, quite weird ones. We're both playing Simpsons Tapped Out. Yeah, every day. Yeah. We're the only people left in the world playing it.
I used to play it. I did used to play it.
I've been playing it for about 10 years.
Right.
Nat's doing pretty well as well. Yeah. Did
you ever get the Ghostbusters Firehouse on it?
No, that was on the Family Guy one.
I managed to get it, and I lost my account.
Wasn't that Family Guy?
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, there was some because Family Guy had license to use characters, and the Simpsons doesn't have that much license to use them.
Peter Guy.
But yeah, I got that. I got most of the Ghostbusters as well, from what I remember. But anyway, so we had a few weird little common interests.
We got So, big team out. Rich, which theatre play would you also like as a TV movie?
There's a company called Punch Drunk that have just done a series on HBO. They do awesome immersive shows. But the two shows that I really loved that would have been great films were made into films and weren't that great. Warhorse and Woman in Black. But I directed a musical a couple of years just when the pandemic hit off, and it's called Imaginary. And I'm not a massive musical fan, in fairness, but this one was just beautiful. It was all about imaginary friends, and it was just really fun and a really interesting twist. Exactly, imaginary friends, and it had a twist, and it was just, it's really good. It's a really lovely show. It's called Imaginary.
Who asked that question? Because I keep missing who's
Big T.
Big T, right? They didn't have a question for you, Lummy, but I've got one for you. If you could remake any John Candy film for a modern audience, but you can't have John Candy in it because sadly he's dead, which film do you think is worth giving another shot? What? These are silky ones tonight. Silky Lummy.
Right, hang on. Right, so say again. I've got to remake a John Candy.
Yeah, if you could remake a John Candy film out of his back catalogue, what do you think?
And who would you cast?
Worthwhile, yeah.
Who would you cast in his role?
And don't just think of the fattest actor you can think of.
I don't think of you either.
Makeup on. They can put makeup
on. I want remake Planes, Trains because it's just, don't need it.
Stone Cold classic.
I'll tell you what, can I not just make a sequel to one I like?
If you want.
Right, I'd make a sequel to Who's Harry Crumb? There you go. Or
would you?
Do it. Harry Crumb Jr. I think there were another film in that one that could have done.
You mean like when they do like Son of the Mask or Ace Ventura Jr. and all that shit?
Do that.
Harry Crumb Jr.
Harry Crumb Jr. Yeah. It'd be awful. No, that's an awful
there
idea.
You go. I felt bad that you got left out of the questioning, so I thought I'd throw you a bone.
Oh, I'll tell you a good one. Delirious, where he writes his own soap. That's a good film. They could redo that.
There was a John Candy film. I was watching a documentary the other day about Ghostbusters and Bill Murray, and about his rise to kind of fame. And I think there was a film that is it John Candy and Dan Aykroyd did that just absolutely bombed and didn't get the success.
Talked about this one. Lummy
Which one was it?
Christmas, and it's I can't remember what it's called.
Trouble, it's called.
Yeah.
No, it's not Nothing But Trouble because I've seen that. No, it's not that because I've seen that. It's another one, and it was one of the reasons why.
Oh, yeah, Great Outdoors is with
Great Outdoors. Yeah, that's it.
I like
It's not a bad film at all. It's awesome.
No, but critically, it didn't do well in the box office. And
critics, schmicks, what do they know? What do they know? Honestly.
So,
I was going to show you. I got this John Candy magnet. Look at that. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles fridge magnet.
The magnet.
That's awesome. How old is that? Because that looks really new.
It's new. This guy does them on eBay. I should have got his username. He does any movie poster on a magnet you want. So I got
really?
Anything you want, I put that on a magnet, okay? Anything you like. Hey, guys, just while we're on the subject of former comedians and comedic movie stars, I've just finished season 2 of Kidding, Lummy, the Jim Carrey one.
Yeah.
Wow, God, what a great little show.
Yeah,
it's
cool,
it's really thoughtful, sweet, funny, dark.
I recommend that. It's
Yeah, it was a great shout. Really.
What's Kidding on?
Oh God, I downloaded it.
It's a channel called Showtime, wasn't it?
Showtime, it's the Showtime one. But definitely worth a watch, man. Jim Carrey knocks it out of the park. He's great in it. He plays a Mr. Rogers character who's been on TV for kids for 30 years, doesn't swear, he doesn't smoke, he doesn't drink, and the real world's coming to get him. Basically, everybody in his life has prevented him having to do anything out of his comfort zone his entire life. But we're at the point in his life now where his wife's left him and his kid isn't doing so well. His kid's going against him, he don't really get on with him, and everything's going really dark in his world. And it's about this guy who's lived in this bubble for years, having to face reality and how he combats it. It's really, really good. It's really good. The anger and the madness that he's bottled up has to find a way out of him somewhere, and it's just really cool show.
Yeah, it's a great show. It's really good.
He was cracking in it. It was really good.
We've got a big team. Asked me something here. Look. Which comedy character, anybody can answer this, I guess, can't I? Which comedy character that comedian has done on stage would like to see as a movie?
Which comedy character that a comedian has done on stage would you like?
I like the Coogan one. You know what's he called? The singer guy.
Tony Farino.
Oh, Tony Farino. Yeah,
It's
brilliant.
I reckon that'd be an alright movie.
Tony Farino is phenomenal.
That song he does when he does that live show, that Man Who Thinks He's It, where he gets the lady out of the audience and he's like looking for her for ages, and he goes, no, not you. Yes, it's you, and all that business. Brilliant song.
Yeah, it's great.
Ordinary girl, innit?
Ordinary girl, ordinary eyes and lips and ordinary curls. Yeah,
what are you thinking in your ordinary mind?
The Valley of Our Souls.
Yeah.
In the Valley of Our Souls.
And then the Silence of the Lambs.
I don't know about you guys, but I can't think of any that haven't been done yet. Everything gets done eventually, even David Brent and people like that. I know he wasn't a stage character, but I thought they did a really good job of the Alan Partridge movie. They waited a really long time to do it, and it actually, I thought it was great. It was a really cool...
Papa Tango Bravo or Papa Bravo. Alpha Bravo or something,
something like that.
Alpha Papa Bravo.
And the favourite bit in that is where Lynn comes in to see him in his shed and he's sitting at his laptop doing some work like that. And he's wearing these glasses and he's like pretending to work, and you can see the reflection of these two big titties in his glasses. It's a blink and you'll miss it thing. It's good.
They did that thing with that, didn't they, where they kept it in England as well, where usually, like they did with the Mr. Bean movie, they go, we got to send them to the States, and they send them just never works, does it, that?
And I tell you what, right, it's one of in Hollywood, you get a different type of thing. You would have ordinary radio host gets embroiled in a kidnapping attempt or something like that and becomes the hero. He fucking kills everybody. But Alan Partridge is just as pathetic as he's ever been. Doesn't know how to handle a situation like this. And it works because you think, I'd probably be like that if this situation happened to me. I wouldn't know what to do. It's good. I liked it.
I was trying to remember what the Thick of It film was called, because that was brilliant when they made a film version of that. In the Loop.
Oh, In the Loop. The American one with James
James Gandolfini in it. Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. Really, really good. Yeah, I mean, Malcolm Tucker's just such a brilliant character.
Martin's put Cool Running somewhere.
Cool Running. John Candy, the film that he'd remake.
Oh, is that what he'd do?
Yeah. Cool Running would make a great musical. It would make a brilliant stage show.
How would they do the bobsled bits?
Dude, got Back to the Future. They've done that. I just went to see Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. See Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, and they made everyone time travel on stage, and they made everyone in the audience. It was really freaky. We'll talk about it when we do the show, the Harry Potter special later. But just to mention, they do this really weird illusion where everybody's, in like a Marvel film where some sort of sonic boom hits and everything just goes wong, and everybody's like the body sort of bends with the sonic waves. They do that on stage right in front of you, and it's with real people, and it's just everyone in the audience just went, oh, what the fuck? It freaked everybody out. It was amazing. It happens like 5 or 6 times in the first in Harry Potter Part 1, Cursed Child Part 1. It's amazing. The magic in that show is awesome.
Seen both parts?
Yeah.
Did it need to be in 2 parts? That's my question.
It did. It did.
Money grab.
No, it definitely did. But Part 1 is better.
Yeah,
than
go
part 2.
for that theatre money. It's notorious.
Yeah,
you're gonna get billions.
But
a couple of thousand people could see it at a time. But
I mean,
slowly get to a couple of billions.
The theatre industry generates more money than football in this country.
Dude, I know. But my point is that if you're gonna write a Harry Potter sequel and you want to make billions out of it, stick it in a book or stick it on a film. Do you know what I mean?
You know what? The tickets to that show, every seat is 50 quid. There's no cheaper seat. The cheap seat is 50 quid.
So you got to pay quid to get.
You see it in 2 parts, and it is sold. I mean, before the pandemic, it's a lottery, so you have to apply to be a part of the lottery to be able to get a ticket to it. It's mental. The only reason I would see it is because my friend is the head makeup and wig lady on it. But it was it's stunning. She's the head wig. Yeah. She's the head wig. She's just.
I get that.
Look at that, Lummy.
There you go, Lummy.
Quick tonight. Razor sharp. Rapier wit tonight, Webby.
Shall we talk about Richard Donner for a bit then? I know that he's passed away, but we touched upon a couple of his films. But what came to mind. Just the sheer amount of fucking films this guy was involved with that I forgot about. They did all the Lethal Weapons and Goonies and famously directed Superman. So he's responsible for turning a superhero into a watchable movie, and that's why we are where we're now. What would you say he did, Lum?
Omen.
The Omen, yeah.
Scrooge.
Yeah, it's quite sad. Yeah,
Scrooge, yeah.
He was old. I mean,
he was really old. I mean,
I was surprised
old as balls.
I didn't realise how old he was, but yeah.
I thought the tributes from the Goonies were pretty sweet on Twitter, where they all sort of, I can't remember exactly what they said, but they all lumped together what an amazing guy he was to work for and how he treated them all with such respect. And
so, Goonies never die, but you have.
I was going to do another Lethal Weapon film. It was going to be this final film.
Really?
Swan song. Lethal Weapon 5.
I've heard about this for some time. It'd be quite. Do you know what, man? Since they've gone that far with it anyway, I wouldn't be opposed to another Lethal Weapon, even if it is they literally. If you remember, Danny Glover's character Murtaugh is supposed to retire in the first film.
Yeah.
So if they did another one now, 30 or 40 years later, I mean, surely he's been retired for quite some time now. Unless he just keeps getting dragged in.
They might have to bring him back. Yeah, bring him out of retirement.
Yeah.
I mean, how old is Danny Glover now? He's got to be.
Yeah.
Well, judging that none of us knew how old Richard Donner was, probably about
late 70s. I was going to say it's going to be late 70s.
Yeah, because
Mel Gibson's got to be in his 60s, right? Late 60s.
Yeah.
Has to be.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
We'll look it up quick.
We could do, yeah. I mean, Mel Gibson's an odd one, isn't it? Because I can't watch him in films now without thinking about how far he's fallen from grace. You know.
Danny Glover was born in 1946.
Wow. So he's 7. Oh, wow. So he's only 70.
85. Hang on. What did he say? 1946?
Yeah, so he's 76. 75.
Okay. Yeah, all right.
Donner was 91, big team I was putting in.
Yeah, 91, man.
Oh, this is a good point as well. Did Superman 2 the Donner cut? Yeah, it's great. Have you seen it, that? Where he went back and
No, I haven't.
fixed it up?
No.
It's worth watching.
Is it a lot better than the original?
Yeah, that's number 2, yeah.
Is that the one with the Zod? General Zod and the two? Yeah, I always really liked that. I thought they were quite menacing, those three.
But he got fired off obviously number 2, but they shot like so much of it, they had enough to go back and put his own.
Why did he get fired from it?
They fell out with the producer, basically. Apparently, they were assholes to
Interesting.
Yeah, everybody were off the tits on coke, weren't they, in the 80s?
Tom Rock was here.
Oh, Wicked is, yeah. Wicked is a wonderful show. Again, not massively into musicals, but the way that they have, that would make a great film because obviously you've already got The Wizard of Oz. But it's just an interesting take. Just go, everything you've known about The Wizard of Oz, what if that was propaganda? And you're like, oh, okay, it's brilliant. Really good. Songs are awesome. Characters are great. It's really clever.
I know a few people that really love it.
Go on, sorry.
That's it. I know a few people that really swear by Wicked, but I think it is one of those that you got to see. I'm always resistant to musicals, and then when I actually watch them, 9 times out of 10, I like them way better, way more than I thought. Les Mis, I avoided that for fucking years, and somehow
Les Mis is brilliant.
when it came out as a movie. I absolutely love it. I don't know.
But the French version of Les Mis is about 15 minutes shorter than the English version because they don't need the French Revolution explaining to them. So there's like this whole bit of the English version that just doesn't exist in the French one.
They're doing, did you know this? They're doing a film version of Spamalot.
Are they?
Really?
Yeah.
Ah, interesting.
I saw that other day on news. It was there's also doing a Bed Knobs and Broomsticks out there. Music.
Yes.
Now that'd be awesome.
The musical, they're doing the stage show because a couple of friends of mine are in it. Yeah, Rob Madge's in it. They're rehearsing it right now.
September it's coming. Yeah.
They're rehearsing it right now. Yeah, and there's.
I go watch that one.
Some
of the music's beautiful as well. Really beautiful.
Saturday, my sister and her husband came around, and we had a bit of a drink and a bit of play guitar. And we ended up doing loads of songs from Little Shop of Horrors, man. And I had no idea that I'd do quite a passable impression of Ellen Green doing Somewhere That's Green.
I knew you were going to say her. I don't know.
Mate, honestly, I nailed it. Maybe I was a little bit drunk. I don't know, but
No,
my
you were.
heart,
You've got
I
that.
felt
You can
like
do
I
it.
were Audrey. I felt
You
it. I
can do
felt
it.
it in my
Good
bones.
That's a good point. Actually, Big T, scrap everything I said about which stage show I'd see made as a film. It would be The Cursed Child. I'd like to see that made as a film. I'd be really interested to see what they did with that. I think it would be, it would be awesome. But gentlemen, this week, have we got any more comments from me before we move on to our best and worst?
Look, Egwig and the Engreech film, but would still see live on stage as it's performed.
Absolutely, yeah.
Beef.
Oh, really?
Who's that?
When did that?
Who's that? Is that that's not the wrestler guy, is it? Who's Paul Ordomf?
No, it's not the wrestler.
I'm going to Google.
I don't say he's a wrestler. Sorry. It's wow. Okay. Wowzers. It's Paul Orndorff. Yeah. It's shit. Yeah. Died today.
Bloody hell.
Half the press, isn't it?
Wowzers.
That man on the inside, clearly.
Wow. That's insane.
Looked at the news.
I don't know who it is.
Yeah, no, he's Mr. Wonderful. He was trained by Bob Backlund, who's an Olympic wrestler. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Cheers, Martin. I had no idea that happened. Oh, weird.
You thought you'd have got a text? Thought they'd have texted
No.
you with you being such a wrestling nut.
No.
In the loop.
No, although I haven't been on Facebook for a while. So, gentlemen, best and worst this week. We decided we were going to pick. Now, this was a tricky. Nathan, can you explain this best and worst?
Not
or did
really.
you manage to confuse yourself? Because I was going to go best animated film.
Right, and I said
You want to narrow it down
when you've got like Disney classics, you've got animated, hand drawn stuff, you've got CGI, you've got stop motion, and I said maybe we should narrow it down. And then I said, why don't we have it as two separate categories? So next time we can do best CGI, but this time around we'll do best thing done by hand, so stop motion or hand drawn animation.
How did that work out for you, Webby?
I sat down to figure it out today, and I was like,
I'm still confused, and I've picked that's not my original choice. I just thought, you know what? It's not going to matter, is it?
So I still think that Who Framed Roger Rabbit and Space Jam would have been good entries for this.
I think that Who Framed Roger Rabbit or Mary Poppins or Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
Space Jam is CGI, isn't it?
Exactly, because I went to pick Space Jam, which incidentally was on TV yesterday and caught the kid's eye. So I actually ended up watching most of Space Jam with Robin. And it's absolutely dog shit. But what I completely forgot about is Bill Murray's in that movie for a lot of the movie, playing himself.
Yeah.
And you just think, all right, Bill Murray, you go, do whatever you want. He just does whatever the
I love Bill Murray. That's the thing I love about Bill Murray. He just does whatever the fuck he wants. It's brilliant.
If it wasn't for him, it would have been less than 1 star of a movie for me. Because when you've got that many sports people trying to act in it, it really isn't good. But yeah, he's all right in it. Yeah, it's coming out real soon. Space Jam 2, a new legacy, yeah.
A new ball.
But
so Webby, all right, let's start with you, Webby. So, what is your best hand-drawn animated movie?
Right, it's not hand-drawn. It's a stop motion. I went for stop motion.
Wait, I thought that was
I did until you thought you changed all the rules.
No, I didn't change it. I explained it. Anyway, I went for Fantastic Mr. Fox by Wes Anderson.
Wait, hang on, I'm confused. I thought that. Wait, what? I thought the whole point was hand drawn.
No,
handmade.
Handmade, so
made with your hands. Or drawn.
Oh man, I thought stop motion was a completely different category that we were going to do.
No, it's the other way around because I didn't think there were enough stop motion stuff to pick from. So
there's not that many bad stop motion films, to be fair. When you look,
it's not too bad.
Yeah.
Okay, so Fantastic Mr. Fox, Roald Dahl. Why?
Okay, well, for a few reasons. First of all, I'm really usually averse to remakes of American remakes of English things. I guess generally, sometimes, especially things like Roald Dahl, which I think are pretty precious, to us as a nation. And I was absolutely blown away by this movie. I just think it shouldn't work on so many levels. It's a kids' film for a start, but any adult can watch this movie, and there's so much in there that's jokes just for the adults. It's really clever. It's beautifully animated. It's got a nifty little soundtrack. It's got one of the best cameos ever. Jarvis Cocker's in this movie, and he plays the son of one of the farmers, and he's just a really strange little cameo. There's a bit where he's singing a song about them trying to catch the foxes, and his dad comes along and he's like, "You messed that up. It's a bad song. You've written a bad song." And Jarvis is just like, "Oh, sorry." It's just crazy, crazy little film. I love it. The soundtrack's great. Cast is unbelievable. You've got George Clooney, Meryl Streep, Owen Wilson, Bill Murray, Jason Schwartzman, to name but a few.
All the
regular Wes Anderson people, yeah. But and also I like some of the little details in this movie. So they didn't record it in a voice studio. They went and filmed on location. They recorded the audio on locations that sound like the. So if somebody's meant to be underground, they went underground and recorded them speaking. If they're meant to be in a field, they recorded them speaking in a field. And it's weird little things like that. You can just tell it's special, beautifully designed, beautifully drawn. And it's not even the best Roald Dahl book, but
no,
it makes something way better out of it than it should be. You know,
if you were going to make a Roald Dahl book into a film, what would it be?
I'd make Willy Wonka .3.
Would you?
Yeah, make it again because
it's only
been done twice. No,
I'm gonna make Boy. His autobiography as a kid. It was brilliant. I think it'd make a really interesting film.
I don't really know because some of them that they've made have actually been all right. I really like Matilda's great. That's an interesting remake. The Twits would be a good one, yeah. Yeah, why not? George's Marvelous Medicine, which you could only have written at that point in time because now you give a list of kids things to put in a bowl to give their grandma to kill. You just couldn't get.
I don't think you can beat the. I didn't see it, but apparently it wasn't very good.
The what?
No. The Witches.
Like,
they just didn't have the same effect as the original.
It's terrible.
The original was brilliant.
It looks like they rushed all the effects in it, that new one. Maybe they did,
it was just terrible. That's exactly what I'm talking about with that remake in America. They feel like they need to change certain things, and there's something about
the original was good. It was
it's all right, that one.
So whenever I think of George's Marvelous Medicine, my first thought is of Rick Mayall reading it on Jack and Ori. When I was a kid.
He nailed it, man.
Yeah, it's just the best version. And it's just kind of like, I don't want to ever read it again. I just want to remember that version of it because it was just.
Yeah, you don't like reading your own books. You need a celebrity to read your books to you, don't you? So
you watched the BFG?
BFG?
Oh, the latest one. Yeah, it was all right. It was all right. Interesting. The stop motion in it was lovely. Not the stop motion, the. What do they call it? Motion. CGI stuff, yeah. They really did a good job. When you looked at the BFG's eyes, you could see Mark Rylance's eyes. It was really weird.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, really weird. Oh, and just before we forget, another Spielberg that you mentioned earlier, Warhorse. Might not be a great adaptation from theatre to film. I've never seen the live show. And I think that film's really, really beautiful.
The story itself is just a beautiful story. Michael Morpurgo wrote it because I think we might have talked about this on the show before because he was doing it was like an outreach thing with a bunch of kids on a farm somewhere, and there was a boy from the school who had never spoken, just hadn't spoken a word. Something had shocked and traumatized this kid when he was younger, and he just didn't speak a word. And one night, this boy went missing. And they all freaked out and panicked, and the whole community was just looking for this kid. And they found him in one of the stables talking to one of the horses. And he just got this idea of Albert and Joey and how they put it together. I helped do some work when the National Theatre did it, putting the puppets together. The company Handspring Puppets, who did all of the puppetry for the 2012 Olympic Games. They're just insane, the sort of stuff that they do. And it's
never really understood Jim Henson. It fascinates me that you're that involved with puppetry and you do not fucking.
That's my next job. That is my next. That's my next. Yes, with the Muppet. No, my next job is as a puppeteer in the Magic Flute. No, Gladys the goose, and a giant snake.
It up like with disdain because you hate the Muppets.
No, I don't hate the Muppets at all. We did a whole show and you couldn't make it, Lummy, when you left us in the lurch. We did a whole Muppet special.
We did. But we only just
learned lots about it.
The iceberg because you were just basically asking me what it is about Jim Henson, all the Muppets that keeps drawing me back. I was trying to explain it's more a feel that you get from it. If you get the Muppets, you're like part of the family. Do you know what I mean? And once you learn about Jim Henson's ethos and his dedication to puppetry, man, like the way he made puppets move on screen is why it all works now. It's a lot of the building blocks. Now he was on the forefront of technology. You got to remember Sesame Street was one of the first shows to put graphics on the screen live. You know, he was really at the forefront. Every time a new bit of technology came out, he jumped on it. He was one of the first people to use remote control puppets and things like Labyrinth, so he could move the mouths without the puppeteer actually having to be inside the puppet. He was just one of those guys that was into it.
When I came out of watching Warhorse once, I used to see it loads of times, and it's stunning. You know, you've got these skeletal horses on stage with two people wearing the horse inside the heart and the hind, and then somebody controlling the head outside of the body, and you just think it's a horse. And we came out of the show, and there's two American women who were coming out, and one of them was like, "So, what do you think about the show?" And her friend went, "I thought it was wonderful, but I just think it would have been better if they'd had real horses on stage." And everyone was just like, "You fucking
real horses."
Real horses.
Better if the horses talked with the voice of Kermit.
Yeah. But I remember going to see Spamalot, and it came out in the theatre. And again, a couple of Americans. One of them was like, "I enjoyed it, but the American version was much longer." You know, and I was like, "Yeah, but that's because it takes you longer to get the jokes." And his mate was like, the guy was like, "Hey, buddy." Yeah. Hey, America, how are you? So what is your worst handmade animated?
My worst one is actually Fantasia. When I delved into it, there's a lot of crappy animation. There's a lot of Disney sequels that suck ass. This is one that
we're gonna do a Disney one of these as well, aren't we? Best and worst.
Yeah, probably. But I honestly feel that this one, for me, the music's beautiful. Obviously, it's all based on classical music, but there isn't enough in it to keep you wanting to watch it. You know, the Sorcerer's Apprentice bit is wonderfully animated. Wonderful. It's all groundbreaking stuff. It's just a bit fucking boring, to be honest. It's just boring. You know, there's some really interesting ideas, but you don't need a 15-minute segment of crocodiles dancing with hippopotamuses to ballet music. You don't need that for 15 minutes.
No.
You know, but the animation techniques again that we're using in it, they were fucking groundbreaking at the time. They were. But
see, I thought
that's what Disney said about it as well. He went, "This is fucking groundbreaking."
It did. Yeah,
I thought you would have had issues with Nathan picking this, Lummy, for some reason. I thought Fantasia was up there with your.
It's not been no, I'm not. I think when you watch this as a kid as well, I think you just thought it was boring. I don't know why. It was...
Yeah. It's weird. It doesn't feel like it was made for kids, does it? Despite it looking like
I think the original idea for Fantasia was they were going to add sequences to it all the time. You know, they were going to be never finished.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
They did do a Fantasia
like sort of serialized.
Yeah,
almost.
they did a later one.
But
it's not for me. It's not in my classics. I like a good Disney, and I've got a few of them for the kid, and collect a few.
Wasn't the Fantasia game good though?
Yeah.
No, the game was shit. I had it for Mega Drive. It was rubbish. It was rushed out. I didn't know
there was a game of it.
I thought it was all right.
No, it was terrible. The Castle of Illusion was brilliant.
Castle of Illusion. That's what I was thinking of. It was Castle of Illusion.
And it was shit. I had it.
Yeah, no, it was Castle of Illusion I was thinking of. Oh, thanks, Webby. Yeah, fair enough. What about you, Lummy? What's your favourite handmade anime? I mean, this is handmade animated movie.
I went for stop motion because I thought that was the original thing.
No, dude, you could have had either. I thought you were the brief. It doesn't matter because they're both good choices.
All right, so I've got Nightmare Before Christmas for me, hand animated one.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it were. I mean, it came out, didn't it? Everybody were like, "Holy shit, this is amazing!" And
yeah,
it was groundbreaking.
I was quite surprised you didn't pick it. Actually,
I nearly did, but I thought it would be a bit too obvious. And honestly, truthfully, I love that film, but it's just something about Fantastic Mr. Fox for me. It's just my ideal sort of kids movie.
I must say, I've not watched this that often. I don't watch it every year or anything like that. But I just, you kind of appreciate, how long it took for them to make it as well. You watch the behind the scenes, you're like, Jesus Christ, when they're doing all the
music,
right.
The lyrics and the music for this film are wonderful too. They really do tell a brilliant story, and it all came from some shitty little doodle that Tim Burton farted out.
When he was a bit younger,
And then Tim Burton wanted to direct it, but he was doing too many projects at the time, so he passed it on to Henry Selick.
So I didn't realise that until
I always forget they didn't direct it. Yeah.
No, same here. I only found that out when we were doing our best and worst Tim Burton. Actually, I found it Webby, and I was like, "Did you?" I mean, of course you know, but he didn't direct. Yeah. Oh, that's why you didn't pick it. That's why you didn't pick it, because you said you were going to only pick things he directed, not produced. Yeah, I remember. Yeah. No, I mean, it is stunning, isn't it? It's just got such a lovely, haunting warmth to it, which is like a really.
Do you know? There's only one downside to this movie for me, and that is that it's one of those films where the lead character cannot see the love interest until the last minute. You know, like those films where the girl, the rom-com where the girl is only pretty when she takes off her glasses and shakes her head at the end of the movie, and you're like, oh my God, we didn't know she was fucking stunning all along. Yeah. It's a bit like that. He ignores the character of Sally pretty much all the way through the film until he's at his lowest point, and then she, you know what I mean? She worms away into his infections. Yeah,
Teen Wolf.
Yeah.
Man. When she makes it obvious, all right.
I want to go for the knobby posh girl that nobody like.
Now I'm at my lowest point.
Do you know what, Michael J. Fox? No, you had your chance.
Do you know what? They don't do that. They don't do that in Karate Kid, where the popular girl who he fancies actually reciprocates his feelings, and that's a weird choice because that makes the popular girl in that movie not seem so daunting. She actually seems human and a bit more, down to earth. I could go with the popular girl, you know what I mean? But it's just a weird choice for a love story.
You did go with the popular girl.
I know.
You were the popular girl, Webby.
Flatter me, big guy.
So what about your worst animated handmade motion film
I'm going to switch it around. I'm going to pick Corpse Bride because I think they thought this were going to be another Nightmare Before Christmas, and
that's what they wanted it to be, and it fucking isn't.
Something went wrong. Something went wrong.
Do you know the budget?
From what I remember, it's not massively musical, is it?
I honestly haven't seen it for ages. I can't remember.
I thought you were going to say I picked it, but I haven't seen it.
I don't think it is musical. No, I think it's just.
There might be one or two like musical numbers in it, but yeah, I mean, I agree with you there, mate. I nearly picked both of those, and I thought, no, I'll go a bit further afield.
I'll go delve in animation.
Yeah, I'll just go all the animation. Everything a picture is fucking CGI.
Classic. I was going to do that.
You could have had that, mate.
Really upset you.
No, you wouldn't have upset. You could be true to yourself. How did you get it to be see-through? That's the only thing you've ever put up. It's like a logo.
Translucent, where you can see Nathan. Do it again. Just again. Oh no, that's a woman's face. That's a woman's face.
No, I mean, how have you cut that out? Did you cut it out?
No, I found it. It's a PNG. You can do that with them.
Jeez, that's clever.
I love how technology amazes you.
Write that down. PNGs.
So Corpse Bride cost $40 million to make and took $118.1 million at the box office.
It's pretty popular, but I've never known why. I don't understand why.
Or is it because it's a sequel?
Them fancy PNGs, you know it.
Whereas
no, it's not
Nightmare Before Christmas cost $18 million, so less than half the price, and took $91.5 million at the box office.
That was just me going back to see it time and time again. Give me more Jack Skellington.
Nice. So what was it you didn't like about the Corpse Bride, Lummy?
Just thought it wasn't They just think it won't. The story wasn't rubbish. It was just wasn't. They were trying to do another Nightmare Before Christmas, and they clearly didn't think about it enough. And I think they just went, "Let's do another one of these stop motion. Everybody loves the first one. Let's just throw a story." I mean, it's interesting that Johnny Depp's in this one as well, isn't he? And he was nowhere near
the. Was in the because Tim Burton usually nabs himself a pretty decent cast, no matter the movie. He usually gets a few people in there that you're interested in seeing on screen. I'll have to have a dig. I'll have a little dig.
Okay, well, for my best animated handmade movie, I chose South Park the movie. Bigger, better, longer, harder, and uncut. I think I made some of that up. Yeah, and this was a really difficult one for me because I was really struggling to pick something for this one. But it's just the fact, big fan of Trey Parker and Matt Stone. A lot of the work they did it's just so groundbreaking anyway. But it's I was stuck between picking this and Who Framed Roger Rabbit, actually, just because it's such a great film as a kid, and that was really groundbreaking of its time. But South Park the movie cost $21 million to make and took $831 million in the box office. That's pretty special. It is the Guinness World Record holder for the film with for the cartoon with the most expletives in it. It has 399 expletive words. It has 146 uses of the word fuck, 128 offensive gestures, and 221 acts of violence in its 81 minutes. But also it's just it didn't get a huge amount of criticism, and even the people who did criticize it were just like, yeah, I feel it's a bit cheap. I feel it's this, that, and the other. But wow, I'm just amazed that this film got made. They really campaigned the studio as well that they wanted it to be what's the oldest rating in America? R-rated, and yeah, not an 18. Sorry, not anything younger than that. But the studio have since said that they wish that they'd made it a 17 because the amount of money that they'd have taken in the box office had they just opened those brackets just a little bit. But yeah, it's just a really funny film. The songs are incredible. I mean, Uncle
There's a
Fucker,
couple of lines in this film.
Kyle's mom is a bitch. You know, they're just brilliant songs.
The one where the devil's singing about wanting to be up where he belongs with us on Earth, and why does he have to live such a shitty life? He's got one of the best lines in it, and I don't know why, it just makes me laugh. There's a line in it where it says, "Without evil, there could be no good, so it must be good to be evil sometimes." He's trying to justify being Satan. It's
yeah. It's brilliant. It's just such a far out film.
Saddam Hussein's his little bitch.
I mean, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. It's just where they dare to go. I mean, I don't know if either of you saw their coronavirus specials. I haven't
seen South Park.
So they did a coronavirus special where they were talking about where the coronavirus came from, and then they did a vaccine special after it. 2 1-hour-long specials, and they felt like a real shot of catharsis during the pandemic. It was just so great to watch. It felt like a breath of fresh air. A breath of fresh air. Watching it just felt a fresh of breath air. It was brilliant. Yeah, really good. So yeah, I like
I just had to Google something because I couldn't remember if it actually won. But do you remember they performed the song? They had no songs that year at the Oscars, and they performed "Blame Canada" at the Oscars. And Robin Williams performed it. Yeah,
he performed what?
Blame Canada.
Really?
Yeah,
that's hilarious. I didn't realize that "Blame Canada" is a brilliant song. I forgot all about that.
Great idea. Yeah. It's just got balls.
And my worst is probably going to be a little bit. I was surprised Nathan was okay with me picking this one, actually. A bit controversial. Yellow Submarine, just because critically it's a really well-regarded film. It's got 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. It only took It only cost £250,000 to make.
But at the time,
arguably
it was a lot of money.
Yeah, it was, but arguably it was at a time where all cartoons were just seen as silly, and it was a cartoon or a film that brought credibility to cartoons, where then adult cartoons were sort of seen slightly more acceptable.
I absolutely 100% agree with you on this one, man. I love the Beatles.
I just find it pretentious.
Well, you might find a bigger Beatles fan because the people that can like this movie are probably bigger fans than I am. I hate the fucking movie. It's the weakest Beatles album. There's only 2 decent songs in it.
Yeah.
A lot of it's orchestral music from the film. Yeah. It doesn't work for me, that trippy LSD groovy bullshit. It just doesn't look.
No, it's really pretentious. I find.
And they haven't even got.
I found most of the Beatles films pretentious.
It hasn't even got the real fucking Beatles in it. They went for voice actors instead of the Beatles.
Yeah.
So for me, it's not even. Worthy of it, you know what I mean?
Have you ever seen it, Lummy?
I have ages ago. I also Trading Card Tony did an episode of this. Had a pack.
Did he?
Beatles trading cards.
I like
Yellow Submarine ones.
Really, awesome. I like Trading Card Tony. I'm going to find that episode. I'm going to hunt it down.
Just in the spirit of trying to be the person that tries to find something positive to say about it. The best thing about Yellow Submarine happening was it allowed the parody Cheese and Onions to happen in the Ruttles, which we talked about.
That
is absolutely amazing. They've animated it just like the TV show, just like the film. There's a little video, and it's just amazing. The line where he goes, I've always thought in the back of my mind Cheese and Onions. And then later on, he does a proper John Lennon thing where he goes, do I have to spell it out? And then he fucking spells it out for like a minute. It's just brilliant. He actually spells cheese and onions in the middle of the song, and it's a whole part of the song. It's genius, man.
That's brilliant. Yeah. Well, there you go, gents. That is our best and worst of this week. Do you have any comments, Lummy? Any best and worst animated, handmade cartoons? Just people really befuddled by the category, I would imagine.
Oh, he's got his best and
Care Bears movie.
Care Bears movie. Oh god. Although
I
did enjoy
Care Bears there. I used to love the Wuzzles.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool. There, we've got a decent example of a sequel surpassing its original movie.
Which
House 2 as well. Have you ever seen the House movies? The horror films called House.
Yeah.
No,
House 2 was brilliant. I always used to like it.
I remember each one had a hand on the cover, didn't it? Right. Yeah.
But House 2, it was more of a parody. It was funny. It was good. I remember getting it from Video Shop, and it was better than the first one.
Wow. How have I missed House? Oh, weird. Any other comments?
You recognise the video covers, dude.
I'm sure I would. It sounds familiar. Okay.
Like a severed hand ringing the doorbell.
Yeah, man. Got to appreciate them. The manga style, the manga animation.
So Akira and The Mask of the Phantasm are both in IMDb's top 50 animated hand-drawn films.
Don McLean doing the title song "Flight of the Dragons."
Really? Wow. Wow. Some great shouts there, Big T.
Yeah, man. Some good picks.
Any others, Lummy?
I mean, it's worth mentioning things like Spirited Away and Howl's Moving
Castle. Oh, God, yeah, of course.
Beautifully designed. That Scanner Darkly.
Yeah.
Scanner Darkly, yeah, it was weird, that.
I saw Bill and Ted 3 this weekend.
Did you like it? Clearly not by that.
No, I did. I know I watched it, and I found some of it amusing. I thought the girl playing Keanu Reeves' daughter in it had his mannerisms down to a T. She was brilliant.
That's her from Atypical.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
She was phenomenal. She was.
That's a great show.
Absolutely brilliant. But the other girl, I didn't think she had her dad down at all. But yeah, no, I enjoyed it. It was nice to see Death come back.
Yeah.
That was a really lovely. It was a little shot of nostalgia, wasn't it? Which I'm all about. So yeah, I liked it, but it was like I'm aware I'm watching something that's not very good, and I'm not sure on what level I'm enjoying it, but I kind of am. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I had that with Jay and Silent Bob reboot and Bill and Ted 3, quite a few other movies. It just seems.
It's weird. I like
Sex and the City 2, you know.
Yeah. Coming to America, another one. Yeah,
oh God!
When you waited 30 years to do your sequel.
Yeah.
Really, that could have. I mean, we've not talked about it, have we, on here? But really,
Coming to America too. Yeah. We did a whole thing about it.
We covered it a little bit. What are you going to say?
You covered it a lot of it.
I was just going to say there were so many things I could have done with it, and they picked a real lame idea to me.
I just feel that this whole reboot system we've got now is just a little lazy. Just literally beat for beat doing the same fucking movie that they did 30 years ago, and I just expected a little bit more.
Also, they went in and they kind of spoiled the first movie as well, which when they went back and they did that flashback scene.
Oh yeah.
Kind of rewrites the first movie. You think, all right, do your sequel, but don't go in and say something else happened in the other movie. It's really odd. It's like you just kind of fuck that up now. That movie, very odd, very strange. Anyway.
No, I still haven't seen it purely because there was not one person I know who liked it. So I was like, I just don't think I'm gonna disappoint myself.
It feels like a giant jam session. There's a lot of like musicians in it. And they're all like doing really nice songs and really cool stuff. But you're like, where's the movie? It's like it's lost. It's like they got all the footage and went. And,
It's like jazz. It just feels like it still sounds very pretty, but not going anywhere. Yeah. All right, well, gentlemen, this week we decided that we were going to have a retrospective look at the Die Hard franchise. Now, I found out some stuff today, courtesy of Webby, that I had no idea about, and I went off to do a bit more research. But Webby, this is the characters from a series of books, right?
Yeah. I can't remember the writer. I can't remember the names of the books, but John McClane is based on a detective from a series of pulpy 70s books. But interestingly enough, John McClane and Clint Eastwood in Dirty Harry are essentially playing the same guy. Dirty Harry is John McClane. They're not called the same thing. I can't remember the name of the original detective. Maybe you turned that up in your research, Rich, but I can't remember the name of him. But yeah, that's allegedly the thing. Because I saw this article that was basically characters you didn't realize have been played twice. So, for example, there was the Matt Damon Mr. Ripley and the John Malkovich Mr. Ripley from Ripley's Game. So yeah, there were a couple of things like that in it, but one of them was John McClane. Yeah.
I'll find it. I'll just I'm going to find out the name of the book for you.
So it's Roderick Thorpe. Nothing Lasts Forever. So you might not think an action classic would have literary pretensions, but Die Hard is actually based on a book that would be Roderick Thorpe's 1979 Los Angeles crime novel, Nothing Lasts Forever. The character here is called Joe Leyland, and the villain is Antonio Rojas.
There you go.
Thanks, Pop Not Bro. Thank you.
Some people out there are either way quicker at Googling than us, or have got some fucking fantastic nuggets stored away.
Yes, that's why the community is so important.
I'm sure there was a game on the PlayStation called Nothing Lasts Forever, and it was a sequel.
Wasn't it a James Bond?
No.
See that?
Everything or Nothing, the one.
Oh yeah, that was a. Yeah,
well, I'm sure Nothing Lasts Forever was a game, a sequel to something. Anyway.
I wonder how closely the book follows either film. Dirty Harry is about the Zodiac killer, isn't it? He's got to track down a calendar killer.
Yeah.
But I'm hazy on that one. I haven't seen that since I was a kid. But Die Hard, yeah. I wonder if they are.
As far as I know, there were a few films. Yeah.
Do you know, Pop Not Broth, they probably ballsed up because some of the sequels, as we're probably going to get onto, are way weaker than they could have been. They could have picked, if they've got a writer like that's got quite a lot of books. That was another one, Elmore Leonard. Some of the characters from things like Get Shorty appearing in other films, in other books, all played by different actors.
So do you know who was offered the role of John McClane first, offered first refusal of the role?
Oh, what do you call him? Fred Savage.
Arnie. I'm going to guess Arnie.
No, this is baffling because he was 73 at the time.
John Wayne.
Nope. Frank Sinatra.
Wow.
Was first offered the role, and before Bruce Willis was offered the role, They went through Sylvester Stallone, as you just said, Harrison Ford, Robert De Niro, Charles Bronson, Nick Nolte, Mel Gibson, Richard Gere, Don Johnson, Burt Reynolds, and Richard Dean Anderson, who played MacGyver. And they were all considered for the role before Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis was considered to be too comedic, and also he was filming Moonlighting at the time, and he wasn't allowed any time off. But Kirsty, what's her name? McCall. She got pregnant, and no, it's not Kirsty McCall. It's ridiculous.
You went for that one.
Yeah, no, that was ridiculous.
There were as big as drums. There were rivers.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I was pregnant at Christmas time.
What is?
You mean Sybil Shepherd?
No.
She was in Moonlighting, wasn't she?
Yeah, sorry, Sybil Shepherd. Yeah, sorry. She got pregnant, and they couldn't film any of the scenes. They couldn't film anything while she was pregnant. So the director just like, right, have 11 weeks off, and that's when he was able to go and make Die Hard.
There you go.
So what do we think of the Die Hard films?
I think they're hit and miss. There's some good ones. There's some terrible ones.
Okay, Die Hard, Christmas films or not?
Well, it's got Christmas stuff in it, but who cares, really? Just if you want it as a Christmas film,
honestly, I'm with you 100% on that. Who gives a flying? If you're still the type of twat that's arguing about that over at Christmas time, just put it on. If you want to watch it at Christmas, I couldn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Santa's not in it.
Every year it comes up, don't you? You think, just watch it if you want.
Controversy. Who cares? Fucking hell. I couldn't care less.
Had a budget, the first film, of $25 to $35 million, and it took $141.5 million at the box office when it was released in July 15th, 1988.
Mark, can anybody remember I half know a fact, and I just need to know if I've got this right. The face that Alan Rickman pulls when he's dropped from the building at the end of the film is a real expression.
Yeah, because they dropped him for
when
real.
He was getting
yeah, exactly. Dropped. It was one of those 1, 2, 3, go on 3, and he went 1, and they just dropped him, and he just went. Yeah, I mean that is a great shot. That is a brilliant shot. That was his first motion film as well, which I didn't realise.
Here we go. We've got. Hang on. No One Lives Forever was the first-person lady spy game early 2000s. I was right.
There you go. Cool. You were right, big guy.
But yeah, I didn't realise that was Alan Rickman's first ever.
Yeah. It sort of, man. Alan Rickman has a lot. I can't even think what I'm trying to say.
What's this? Is this the name of the guy that Joel Leland?
Yeah, that's the hero.
Claxon Oil Corp for Christmas, where his daughter works. So that's the novel, isn't it? Obviously.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
So there are lots of similarities to it. Yes. But
a few Diane things. Shoot the glass.
I mean, jeez.
It's a great action film. I mean, for part of it's a
brilliant villain role, though. Hans Gruber is an amazing villain role. The name itself, Hans Gruber, is such a cool bad guy name.
Got this completely wrong, but I know that British guys have always played bad guys in American films and put dodgy accents on. But I mean, he really did set the benchmark for him, didn't he? It was amazing.
Yeah,
amazing. But as for the franchise itself, first one, fucking awesome. Second one, absolute shite. Third one, great. Third one, great.
So second one, set in an airport. Yeah, do you know what? I don't mind the second one. I don't mind it at all.
Here's a bit of trivia for you. Do you know it says Die Harder there? Originally, that was just the tagline for the poster, and it took off so much that they thought it was called Die Harder. They decided to rename the film every time they brought it out after that.
Really? That's interesting.
It was meant to be just called Die Hard 2, but on the poster it said Die Harder everywhere.
Wow. So the budget for that film doubled, went up to $70 million, and it took $240 million in the box office in 1990, so 2 years after the first one.
Die Hard 2, a Christmas film.
Oh, it's a Christmas again, isn't it?
Yeah,
is it the same Christmas or the Christmas after? Well, I don't.
2 years later. 2 years.
2 years later. All right.
Yeah, because it's time for them to kind of. Have they split up by that point?
Yeah, they'd split up.
Split
up in the film, aren't they?
I think we're talking about two different things, right? We've got Martin there saying it is a Christmas film. It's set at Christmas, no doubt about that. But what do you quantify a Christmas film as? Is it not something with the message of Christmas, with presents, with Santa, with something Christmassy in it, or is it just any film set at Christmas?
It's whatever you believe it to be. How about that?
Exactly.
Fair enough then it is. Yeah. Or it isn't. Whatever you want.
Now,
I've always thought it's an Easter film myself because it's about resurrection.
So what did you think of the second film?
Start trending. Die Hard is an Easter film.
So what did you think of the second one, Lummy? What did you think of Die Harder?
Yeah, I liked it, I think, at the time.
What was the premise of the second one?
It's the airplanes have been taken over and the by hostage, won't let them land unless...
Are they circling? That's right. They're about to run out of fuel, aren't they? And his wife is on one of them, isn't she?
Yeah, and the reporter.
Is it evil?
That's it.
Is it evil Germans again as bad guys, or is it a different breed of bad guys?
I think it is. I honestly, I've not seen the second one for ages. It's the least one I've watched, apart from, we'll get to that, number 5.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's...
So no, it's still his wife, Holly's waiting for us to arrive from Los Angeles, and the reporter who had exposed Holly's identity to Hans Gruber in the Nakatomi Tower. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good villain, bad guy, good guy type guy. Ghostbusters. Yeah, he plays a really good prick in that movie as well. I love that bit where they take him down in the mayor's office. Cats and dogs loving each other.
So, what about the third one? Because the third one, hang on, the computer game, wasn't it all of the Die Hards, or was it just the third one that was out on where you were driving around the park? Because you're having to get to various places at a certain point, weren't you?
They did a Die Hard one where it had all of the... There's been a few Die Hard games.
It had the first 3 films, though, right?
Yeah, there was one where it had all 3, and I remember that.
The third... And I think the third one was the most enjoyable, the driving one, because you were just having to drive, getting from point to point to get to the phone boxes.
That's it. You had to hit you had to stop the bombs diffusing, didn't you, by driving?
Yeah, you had to get to phone boxes.
Yeah.
Now, this third film works for several reasons, in my opinion. First of all, you got a really good partnership with Sam Jackson, shouting his best Sam Jackson voice all the way through the movie.
Yeah.
You got the sandwich.
That's a really great partnership, though, isn't it? It's a really great partnership because you've got Sam Jackson with the kind of. It's not. Is he kind of all up for Black Power, or is it just equality?
Dude, the first time he meets John McClane, John McClane's walking down the street with a sandwich board that he's forced to wear.
Of course. Yeah,
and so he comes out he's like, "What the hell, man?"
Yeah, of course.
He's like, he has to explain it all to him, and then he just gets sucked along into this fucking adventure with him.
I really like this.
Third film's great.
Do you know what? This was meant to be meant to be a Die Hard film. It was written as a script called Simon Says or Simon Says.
Oh, really?
They turned it into a Die Hard film because the script was so good. They said, and I think it's great. I really like this one.
And then a film called Simon Says came out in early 2000s with Wesley Snipes in it. It didn't do too well. Yeah, there's an actual film called Simon Says S-E-Z.
Do you remember the Simon Says thing where you press it?
Yeah.
That was the film. Wesley Snipes going.
So when Bruce Willis was first given the role of John McClane, the first Die Hard film, it didn't have him on the poster because they didn't think anyone would want to go and see a film with Bruce Willis in. And then when the film started doing really well, that's when the poster that we the cover that we now know.
Well, that's because of the whole TV film thing, innit? You know, there was a massive divide back then. If you did TV, it was like career suicide. That's why.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so different now, isn't it? That's such a massive change up, you know.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Now, if you're a Hollywood actor who's not attached to some sort of TV thing, it's weird.
I know someone who's making a crowd-funded film, and they've got Imelda Staunton attached to it to play the lead in it. It's like, well, yeah, because, you know, technology has come that far now. The industry has changed that much. Technology has come that far that everybody's got that technology. You know, your phone can do 4K and 1080p. You get brilliant quality on it, you know, and you get gimbals for your phone and all that sort of stuff. So actually, you know, so steady cams. So the quality that you can produce these days on a budget, I mean, the grading and things like that afterwards in post-production, that's expensive. But you know, it's incredible. So suddenly, you know, if you've got a good idea, it's probably never been easier to be able to attach a name to your project.
So between Die Hard 3 and Die Hard 4, something really, really, really important happens. And that is that, in my opinion, Bruce Willis somehow goes from being likable, castable action hero to being Hollywood fucking arsehole that nobody wants to work with.
Yeah.
I mean, Die Hard, the point where this film's called Live Free or Die Hard in the States, isn't it? And it was called Die Hard 4.
And it's the one with Kevin Smith in it, right?
Yeah.
And Kevin Smith on the set of this film got on really well with Bruce Willis and then signed him up to make Cop Out, and Bruce Willis completely fucked that movie into the ground. He wouldn't let Kevin Smith move.
Direct it.
Let him breathe. Absolutely. Yeah. But he's all right. He's perfectly acceptable in this film as Kevin Smith. But then Kevin Smith goes and gets his own back by doing what he does and going to talk to people about the truth about what he's been through, talking about Prince, talking about different producers in Hollywood.
Prince stories are incredible.
But the Die Hard story is amazing as well.
That was from Superman, wasn't it? Because he was going to do the...
But you get the feeling that Kevin Smith is telling the tale through the eyes of a normal person, reporting back on what goes on in Hollywood, and actually telling you how fucked up Bruce Willis is in the head. Like, just complete control freak, completely squished all his best ideas. He didn't want to make them. From like a week into making the movie with Bruce Willis, he was like, "Oh man, this is going really badly," and it continued to go badly.
Which one are you about? Cop Out now?
Cop Out, yeah.
That's the thing, because
I missed a lot of questions. You know, I missed a lot of questions about the other stuff we've been talking about. Hang on.
That's all right.
The thing about Bruce Willis, I think one of the things Kevin Smith was saying, that Bruce Willis, it's like, I am John McClane. That character is me. You know, so nobody can tell me what that character does and what his motivations are going to be, because nobody knows better than I do. And so he was like, I just wouldn't do that. John McClane wouldn't do that. And he was just, it was like anything. It seemed like anything that Bruce Willis didn't want to do conveniently was something that John McClane wouldn't do as well.
Yeah, but you know, it's weird. What a weird trajectory for Bruce Willis is now in these movies. A bit like Nicolas Cage and Wesley Snipes. He's stuck in these series of straight-to-video bullshit movies that nobody wants to watch.
Yeah, Mel Gibson as well, people like that. You know, but like actors that have gotten to a certain age and suddenly turned into a dick. Because Mel Gibson did it as well.
Yeah. Mel Gibson. Yeah, a lot of them do it, don't they? A lot of them do it. And maybe it's money, maybe it's success, maybe it's ego combination.
Maybe it's or maybe it's not being able to get as many parts as you used to get. So then the ones that you do get, suddenly you become super controlling over.
It's odd, isn't it? Because you think these people must be more than well off. You know, they probably never need to do another film as a lead, do they?
But do you think it's about money, or do you think it's about about relevance? No, but about being relevant and needed.
Well, and why are they such miserable twats? And you think they'd try, if they want to be relevant, you think they'd be cheery when they go and make this stuff.
I know, but what I'm thinking, and some people are, but what I'm thinking is maybe if you've had everybody kiss your ass like your whole career, and then suddenly gets to a point where that doesn't happen as much.
So we're talking Bruce Willis here. We're talking,
or Mel Gibson. Okay. So I remember. So my first stand-up gig I ever did was with Peter Kay. He just won the BBC Comedy Awards. We were at the Dry Dock. You were both there.
Peter Kay was brilliant.
Yeah, he was. He was great, and he was a really lovely guy. We were chatting to him afterwards, and it was like, "Oh, congratulations on the BBC Comedy Awards." And I was like, "What did you do to celebrate?" And he was like, "Oh, I took my nephew to see the Illuminations." And I was like, "Oh man, this guy's lovely. What a really lovely, down to earth guy." The next time I gigged with Peter Kay, he was at that level where he'd be doing like a little bit on Good Morning Britain or something, but he wasn't like a household name. But some people knew who he was, and he was an arsehole. He was an absolute arsehole. Yeah. I did the Deep down in Sheffield, and it was an old swimming pool, and the stage was on top of the swimming pool. And his mates, he brought a load of his scally mates with him, and they were just throwing stuff at other comedians on the stage, and he was really disrespectful. And then the next time I saw him, when he was like famous, like a household name, and I was taking a group of kids to go and see Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, and he was going to see that same show, and he recognized me, and he was lovely again. And I just wonder whether it's when you get to that do you know who I am kind of element of fame, where there's that thing that you kind of almost made it, but you haven't quite made it. But when you've made it, everything's satisfactory. But when you're kind of still having to prove yourself, but some people do recognize you and half kiss your ass.
Do you know what I respect about Peter Kay is the fact that he's true to himself, and even though he's the most successful, well, probably the most successful comedian in the country, if not one of them, he takes huge amounts of time off. He only does stuff he wants to do. A lot of stuff he does only comes out of retirement to do charity stuff, you know, and it doesn't seem to have an ounce of pretension about him. But you never know, man. That's just my opinion.
But this is what I'm saying. When he became a household name, suddenly that seemed to be the point where suddenly he was like, I can settle down into this now. I've kind of done it. I've made it. Everyone's nice to me. And I'm just wondering whether that's the same with these Hollywood stars. When everyone's really nice to you, that's great. And you're a really nice guy. You're the nicest guy in Hollywood. You're Mr. Friendly. And then suddenly those things dry up for you a little bit. I mean, I keep wanting to reference Chevy Chase, but obviously he was a bit of a dick all the way through.
All right, but you've got comedians that weren't successful, that have worked really hard on the circuit and finally break success, and the acts become completely different. A perfect example of that is Mickey Flanagan, who was a common working man. That's how he related to his audience, and then turned his act into a series of jokes on you. Think what you want. I'm fucking rich now. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. But he still manages to make it funny and make you laugh. You know what I mean? Because it's not that pretentious side. It's like all this could get snatched away at any point. You know, but there must be massive relief when somebody like Peter Kay gets to that multi-million-pound mark and thinks, well, I don't have to do this every day now.
Yeah.
Just do what I want.
I don't have to do a new set of material every single night when I'm going and doing my stand-up. I can stop writing all this material now. Isn't that right, Lummy?
Yeah. Or I can just do whatever I want and people will pay me to do it, no matter what it is. Even if I've just got a whim. I'm going to do a charity video. It'll still get millions of likes. I'm going to do a series about driving around in a car on my way to work. Millions of people watch it. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it must be comforting to know that you don't even have to try. But I don't think he does that, you know. I think he really does hold himself, puts himself on a pedestal when it comes to writing. And making people laugh is what comes first. The Car Share is a great example of that because it's funny. It's quite well written.
I like it. I really like him. I always have done. And
yeah, me too.
I like his stuff. And I think you're right about, I think he thinks of his audience. And not many people do that. I think he goes, you know, I watched that quite recently, actually. I watched his stand-up specials he did, you know, them big tours. And there were a couple of different versions of it, obviously. The one behind the scenes. And he's interviewed on that, and he says, I want to give the audience a good night here. And that's when he's doing all this silly thing with the camera, you know, filming it. He says, I love this stuff when people are getting interactive and talking back to me and stuff. And you can tell he loves that, you know. Else he'd just go out and he'd go, right, here's my run-of-the-mill jokes, here we go.
I think because he's got the same family and the same friends he's had forever, it's really hard for him to forget where he came from. Mm-hmm. So he treats the audience, they are him, where he used to be. Do you know what I mean? Because even the richest person sat there watching Peter Kay is not going to be anywhere near as rich as Peter Kay, is he? Do you know what I mean? Even if you're well off watching Peter Kay's probably got more money than you. So I don't know. He always, I don't know. He puts his audience first. You're right. He is a crowd pleaser. He does have some like lazy jokes in the sense. Everybody remember Panda Pop? Remember Panda Pops?
Roller Caller.
It's so easy because it's common ground.
It's only easy if you tap into that, and some people can't. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's only easy if you've constructed that and played with it, and you know what people are going to like.
And you have the confidence that at least
10 comedians who could go out and talk about Roller Caller, you'd sit there going,
well, yeah. But I mean, that's the other thing. You've got to be assured that at least
it's the likability. It's the likability of him.
Yeah, but a certain percentage of
you're right. You're absolutely
right. To know what you're talking about to find common ground with you. So finding the things that everybody did, like the way your parents answer the phone. My grandma used to do it, like to read out a phone number on the phone when you called.
So I know I just dialed that number into the phone and got you. He's going. He's going. Or when you phone up somebody, you go, "Sorry, you got the wrong number." Sorry. Which number did you dial? Yours, because you're speaking to me now on the air. It's all that sort of stuff.
It's interesting that you say that, but I think when when he does stuff, I think even if you didn't know about it, I think you'd still laugh along with it in a way. Whereas,
well, yeah, if you look at things like he makes those lazy jokes about his mum putting the remote control, put it back in its holster. But then he goes, she's not even Irish. You're already laughing at the first joke, but he's hit you with the stupid second joke. Yeah. She's not even Irish. And then he's got a running joke that he can bring up any time in his fucking act. And that's what, at first, it kind of annoyed me. I thought it was lazy, but then I realised that first gig he does with the garlic bread and it's spitting and all that, all the classic jokes, everybody knows them. He gets to the second gig and he starts to do what you think is the same thing again, but it's not the same. He's adding layers to that joke. And he's using the garlic bread or it's spitting to enhance that joke, and it's quite cleverly done.
Because Ricky Gervais does exactly the same thing, but just framed very, very differently. His stand-up specials, again, you know what you're getting when you go and see a Ricky Gervais show, and a lot of his jokes are very similar, but just framed differently. You know,
but that was
my issue with the humanity.
They are similar, but what's different about them is.
But poles apart. Do you know what I mean? There is
because Ricky Gervais comes from an angle that he's smarter and better than everybody in the audience, and it's a wink thing. You know, I'm cleverer than you. I'm funnier than you. There's no pretension.
I'm
with
richer
Peter
than
Kay.
you. No.
Yeah, there's no pretension with Peter Kay. And like, even if he went, I know he cancelled his tour, and everybody were really upset. And I know something bad happened in his family, and it must have shook him. Something's going on.
Oh no, he isn't. He really ill.
Somebody in his family's got some. Nobody really knows, except for the fact that he's given shitloads of money away to a particular charity that's for a really odd, weird disease.
Very rare disease. Oh man,
so, yeah.
That's hard.
So it kind of sucks. But you know that if you'd have gone to see that tour, it'd just be an extension of the first thing. In the right way, in the completely the right way. I definitely don't think he thought, "Wow, I haven't got it anymore. I'm bottling it because my jokes are shit." I don't think it was anything.
No, I don't think so. Anyway, we're talking about Die Hard, but it was just that thing about how to, you know. That,
I'd love to see Peter Kay at Die Hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I forgot that he wrote that. I mean, it's good writing. It's funny.
No, they all wrote that, didn't they?
They
were a bit of...
Oh, really? Is that what happens?
Yeah, I think that's another thing. If you watch people that are in his world that do stand-up comedy, Dave Spikey talks about him a lot, doesn't he? And he sort of...
I mean, Paul brought up this. It's interesting there because obviously on the comedy scene like myself, you know, so we hear people say this all the time, smashes every single gig. But I've got to say, I could genuinely believe that he did from the start, Peter Kay, because when we saw him, me, Rich and Nate saw him at a pub in Leeds, one of his first ever gigs, he absolutely nailed the gig to the point.
Well, hang on. It wasn't one of his first ever. He just won the BBC comedy.
It was like the little crappy.
It was at the Dry Dock, but he was a touring working comedian who was headlining shows, and he just won the BBC Comedian of the Year award.
He was still leaps above anybody
else.
Yes,
but by that point,
it was funny.
Yeah, exactly. So he started off. His first gig was at the Frog and Bucket, and it was part of his performing arts degree at Salford University, and he was doing stand up, and that's what he did. And he just went and did. I can't remember whether he hired it or whether it was like it was an open mic night, or he put on a showcase for other comedians on the course. But yeah, that was where he got his first gig, and he did really well there. I mean, I always fucking bombed at the Frog and Bucket. It was a really tough club to kind of break.
Tough cunt club.
Tough cunt club, yeah.
That sounds like a kind of. That's my motorcycle name. That's my motorcycle gang name. Come on, join Fido's Tough Cunt Club. Let's go cause some havoc.
We did comedy checkout at the Frog and Bucket. We had a residency there, and it is a tough club to play. But once you got the feel of the audience, it worked then. But it was tricky. But
yeah, but if you're getting up and doing a 15-minute spot, you know,
every comedian though on the circuit say the smash gigs. That's what that's about. You know, they'll always see him on Facebook.
And maybe he's joking though. Maybe
have you read? No. Have you read his autobiography?
I tried, but I didn't like the way it was written.
Yeah, right. Well, that's. I think that's what. I think that's what Pop Not Broth. I think that's what Pop Not Broth is referring to there. So there's lots of things that I've heard anecdotally other comedians who've read his autobiography actually be quite disparaging about it. And I think a lot of it is jealousy. Of course, a lot of it's jealousy, but it's that thing of, his autobiography is just about really normal things, and the stories don't really go anywhere, but he smashes every gig. Every time he references a gig, it's like, I smashed the gig that night. So I think that's what Pop might be talking about.
It's really weird. It's really weird that a guy like him became so successful, because essentially he's a working men's club comedian with that same sort. If you think of every song he's ever done and every song, the style of music he likes. It's box working men's club songs.
I bet he's kicking himself that he did not release Sweet Caroline at some point in the last 6 months, because that's the sort of thing that you can imagine that England crowd all singing along. You can imagine them all doing on the way to Amarillo and things like that. If you watch the football at the start yesterday, it was that. You can imagine that being the start of a Peter Kay gig, actually. The spirits that everybody was in and the sort of, definitely. I think you're right.
But it brings a party, doesn't it? It makes you feel like you're going to see a show that's a party. When you watch his DVDs, it's just like everybody's having fun. It's just cool.
Now, going back to
absolutely fuck all to do with Die Hard.
Going back to Die Hard 4.0. That is the one. Die Hard. Have you? That is the one where they're in the tunnel, and he basically fires a car into a ramp or pipe to take out a helicopter that's shooting the shit. I mean, there was a lot of stretching of the imagination.
Again, I wish I could get in a room with some of these producers and special effects people and say, come on, man. What was best about those movies were the practical stunts, the physical explosions, the things that look real, the things that look dangerous, and these don't look like that. Because
hanging onto that aeroplane isn't suspending my disbelief. It's
exactly what we're going to bring up. Right, the first film, he runs across a load of broken glass, and he spends the next scene picking the glass out of his feet.
And bandaging them.
Exactly. It really hurts. And
and he's absolutely covered in blood at the end of the movie. But they forgot the detail of how the blood got him. In the rest of the movies, they just throw blood at him. It doesn't really have that same thing.
It looks like somebody has just thrown blood on him. There's no pain. There's no... I mean, that's why... I mean, we haven't got to it yet, but that fifth one with his son in it, I mean... where there's a bit where they jump through like a plate glass window, and you think, so in the logic of Die Hard, the glass is meant to really do some damage, yet him and his son jump through all these windows, and you're like, this is just...
I have to confess, I haven't seen the fifth one because I started to realise it's a franchise that's got away from itself.
It's terrible.
Aren't they in Russia? They're in Russia, aren't they? I've seen it once or twice.
Can we just mention, right, that Hans Gruber gets a lot of the acclaim for being an amazing bad guy, and he is. I'm not taking anything away from Rickman, but can I just say, personally speaking, Jeremy Irons, brother in the third one, it's great, and it's a great little plot.
And that is a really good plot twist. Yeah,
his brother's just as terroristy as he is, so he's just got to fight back.
That was brilliant.
We've got this. They're totally over the top stunts are what make action films great. Have you seen the crazy described of all physics in Bollywood movies? Amazing. Yeah,
I understand what you're saying, but I understand the logic behind that. But when it doesn't look real, it can be over the top of as it wants, and if it doesn't look real, I'm not going to buy it. You know what I mean? I don't mind an over-the-top stunt. Bloody hell, I've seen Matrix and Mission Impossibles and stuff like that, and James Bond's. Tons and tons of amazing stunts. But that's the key factor. It has to look real. It has to look...
I think there's a balance as well, isn't there? And I just don't think the latter Die Hard films get that balance right. Yeah. Because there are some really big... stunt scenes in the first Die Hard film. It's just that they're mixed with a level of plausibility. When he fired that car into the helicopter,
there's consequences to the actions. That's the difference. If you jump off of a building where he jumps off with that thing on, you feel
it's not being cancelled. It's feeling the consequence.
Yeah, and he's like slams against the window, and you're like, I didn't hear that, Rich. Sorry.
That's right. It was a cancel culture joke. It was feeling the consequences, not being cancelled.
Making a serious point.
Sorry, Lomi. I do apologise. I know how much you hate comedy.
If you wrap a thing around your body and jump off from that height, then you probably just sever yourself in half, and both pieces of you fall to the ground. But that's not what happens.
But that was great though, because it was the fire hose, wasn't it? And then it all starts to bend, and it's great. And then that goes through the window. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
That is brilliant. The jeopardy in that is awesome.
But if they made that now, what would happen is he'd jump off with the fire hose unattached, right? And he'd attach it on the way down like a Looney Tunes cartoon.
Yeah. He'd be running and jumping off the building, tying it as he's falling.
The building would start to collapse behind him as well, and he'd kind of pull himself up the building while it's collapsing, and then
he'd be climbing. Yeah, he would climb as fast as the building is falling to the point where he gets onto the roof and then he surfs down to the ground. Yeah, exactly.
I bet
because that's what John. Because that's what John McClane would do, according to Bruce Willis. He's like, "No, I know that character. That is the sort of thing he'd do."
Yes, right. I mean, the other thing they've left out of the last two movies, at least, is the sense of humor. You know, the reason it works is because he was a comedy actor and he's got that wisecrack. Sure, okay.
So the partnership of him and his the police officer in Die Hard is great. You know, it's that really nice
talking to himself as his muttering to himself around the building, and
the partnership with the sort of the partnership with him and Samuel L. Jackson as well. That they're kind of opposites. I haven't seen that. I'm so sorry, Pop Knock Bro.
Man, I'm really sorry as well. I got kids, so just don't get a chance to watch everything like I used to.
Describe what happens in that film with that amazing building crawl up. I think we did.
No, can't be that. No. So
I've got an idea for a new Die Hard movie. Right, listen to this. So Speed 2 Cruise Control.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That with Bruce Willis in, but it's a cruise ship, like a retirement cruise.
Didn't you make one with Matt Jackson a long time ago? Die Hard in an old people's home.
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
we made a short of it. Remember that? Die Hard with a pension. That's not a bad title.
That is really good, actually.
Yeah.
So just quickly, Die Hard 3, its budget was 90 million. So again, more money. It took $366 million at the box office. Die Hard, which was the fourth one? Was that
Live Free or Die Hard 4.0?
Live Free, Die Hard, 110 million budget and took 388.2 million. I mean, so they are always doing well, doing really, and it was a good day to Die Hard. Yeah. That cost 92 million, so slightly less, and it took 304 million at the box office.
I wonder if I could watch that movie. I mean, I'm one of these people. I like to finish a saga when I start it, but I just don't.
I think
I just don't have any faith there's going to be anything in it that I'm going to like.
So I
look at this. Still need a Muppet style.
Brilliant.
Right on in.
Brilliant. Yeah, love that. That's a great shout.
Have you seen the Death Wish remake with Bruce Willis?
No, I didn't.
Talk about phoning a performance in. You might as well be on the phone all the way through it.
Really?
It really is. Yeah, it was terrible.
Maybe that's a genius.
I used to love the Death Wish films as well. They were brilliant.
You know, we're living in this age now with the death of the Muppets that nobody can decide what to do with this property, and they can't make anything good because most of the people that were good at it are dead now, and it's just not the same. Maybe that's a brilliant way of rehashing him, just remaking a bunch of fucking movies or sequelizing a bunch of movies, but having the Muppets in the background and keeping the. I would go see Die Hard with some Muppets. That'd be brilliant.
What are the two characters in the theatre called? The Waldorf and Statler?
And Waldorf.
Yeah. That's they'd be a good addition into any film, really, wouldn't they? Just to have as a commentary thing, just so they're just sat in a cinema watching the film that we're watching, and they're just offering a commentary on what's going on in any film. That would work.
Weirdly enough, right? This year was the 50th anniversary, or was it last year? 50th anniversary of Sesame Street, right? And I found this documentary. I started watching it. Jesus, it's sad. What a groundbreaking show that was, right? Because they tackled. So they had a Sesame Street in South. It went global. And made their own Sesame Street for pretty much every country with real puppeteers doing it in the country every day for their country, right? In the South African one, there was such a problem with AIDS in the mid-'80s. It was absolutely rife. Like, kids were dying. It was awful. And they made the first ever HIV positive Muppet, and they put it in the Muppets. And then they talked about bringing it over to America, and the Americans like, oh, no.
I remember that.
No. And then Whoopi Goldberg brought the puppet over and did an interview with her about having HIV and being a kid and tried to make America see that it was it. But that's not just it. Do you remember a guy who used to run the shop on Sesame Street, Mr. Hooper?
Yeah.
Hooper's shop. Well, he died in the early 80s, and they tackled it on the show. Big Bird's walking around looking for his fucking friend, Mr. Hooper.
Oh,
and all the people, all the humans on the street come out. They're like, "But he's dead, Big Bird." It's like, "Well, all right, it's okay. I'll just catch him later." No. When somebody's dead, they don't come back. To Big Bird, all the cast are in fucking tears. Their mates just died, and they're doing this show just for the kids. And I just think, wow, what a set of balls they had to just do it.
What did you watch this on YouTube?
It's I think I've got the wrong one. They did one called Street Gang, which is how we got to Sesame Street, which is the one I was looking for, and I can't find that. But I found this one made for TV. It's got pretty much all the same interview. It opens up with Stevie Wonder being interviewed, doing something with Grover. And then Stevie Wonder playing the Sesame Street song in Stevie Wonder style, just like playing the song and singing it in his own particular way. It's really cool. But yeah, it's got fucking just unbelievable street cred. No pun intended. Sesame Street cred. I think so far, I'm only halfway through the documentary, but Ricky Gervais was on it. Angelina Jolie's been on it. There's just like every celebrity would come back to talk. So Rosie Perez, American
Street
actress.
Gang, how we got to Sesame Street.
Yeah.
It says 2021 that. So is that?
It's this year, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can't remember when it's from. But yeah, anyway, so Rosie Perez is talking about the importance of, do you remember Maria, the Hispanic woman who lived on Sesame Street? She wasn't just a character. She was the woman who came forward, and she was always like, well, I'm Hispanic, but I'm smart, and I'm a woman, but I can do that. You know what I mean? It was way ahead of its time.
Is it this?
And
Where,
Rosie Perez is like,
is it called Sesame Street Unpaved? Is that it?
No, the one I've got is somewhat similar to that. I was looking for how we got there, but this one's not called that.
1999 full documentary.
No, because it's a 50-year special, dude. So
right, okay, I'll just stop.
Yeah, so it's just weird. Yeah, no, I don't even remember how we got there, but yeah,
it's interesting, isn't it? How we can pick a subject like Die Hard for our retrospective and go on to talk about Peter Kay, Sesame Street.
Yeah, I don't remember any link at all. No,
but it's quite funny because Webby was like, Webby was saying to me today, he was like, "Oh man, Die Hard. I mean, I haven't even seen all of them. Not sure I'm going to have much to say." And literally, we've just, it's been a very.
I have a lot to say about everything apart from Die Hard.
Do we have anything else to say about Die Hard before we close the show off?
Basically, watching a guy go bald for 5 movies. By the end one was just not a fucking stitch of hair on his head.
Yeah. There we go.
Oh dear.
Crikey. Do you have any other comments, Lummy?
Let's have a look. No, I think I'll just go back a bit. Die Hard 4, bit daft fun movie. Kevin Smith as well at his mum's basement.
Yeah, that's a good scene. That.
Is that when he lost all his hair or his divorce?
Oh God, I forgot all about that part in his in his private life.
And then she moved on to Ashton Kutcher, and he sort of accepted them into the family, didn't he? He was like, well, okay, if you're just going to do it anyway, then you may as well. And they're in loads of family photos together. They all get on really well.
Yeah.
Loved Die Hard 2. Die Hard 3 was fun. Loved Simon Gruber.
Yes.
Jeremy Irons on it, yeah.
Who's the pie man.
Yeah. It's brilliant, though. That whole twist about being Hans Gruber's brother is brilliant.
Yeah, it's
absolutely brilliant. Which is your favourite out of the 5?
Question about Die Hard 2. Pilot says the plane is running on a dry martini, but it still explodes a massive ball of flames. Dry martinis are not.
Yeah, because if they've run out of all their fuel. That's a good shout.
I don't know.
I agree, Martin.
That goes back to that thing about when a car crashes in a movie, it fucking instantly explodes. Like what?
When it falls off a cliff or something. Yeah, exactly. So I know you haven't seen the 5th one, Webby, but out of the ones that you have seen, which is your favourite Die Hard?
Number 1, hands down.
Lummy?
It's got to be closely followed by number 3, though.
Number 3.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think for me, Bruce Willis is at the top of his game there in that first one, isn't he? It's really.
No, he's not. He's coming into his game. That's what it is. He's proving himself. He's earning his stripes.
But I mean, well, yeah. I mean, as John McClane, you know, I just feel like it comes together really well.
Try hard. He's trying hard as he goes, and then he tries harder, and then.
I didn't mean as an actor. Sorry, I meant as the character John McClane. I just think that's where he does him really, really good service. But then it's the relationship that he has. I mean, the film itself is brilliant. It's a brilliantly crafted film, the third one. I think the plot's funny and exciting. But the relationship between him, the sort of buddy cop relationship between him and Samuel L. Jackson is awesome. It's really
also,
good.
You have to question at some point, if there's 5 of these movies and everywhere he goes there's a bunch of terrorists trying to kill him or kill someone, I mean, that's just bad luck, right? I mean, either he's looking for it. If he just went about his business and just did whatever he's supposed to be doing, maybe he'd be all right. But he's looking for these terrorists, and all of a sudden he spots them, and it manifests itself in a big epic adventure. I wonder if it happens to him every day, like when he goes to do his taxes and shit.
Have you ever seen Ben Stiller did a sketch of Die Hard in a shopping centre? Have you seen that one in a grocery store? It's really funny.
Not for some time, but I have seen it.
It's really good. It were on the Ben Stiller show. I've got it somewhere. But,
I used to love that show.
I just think it's a shame that the 5th one wasn't at Miami Beach and the 6th they did a 6th one in that was the 6th one was in Russia. You know, yeah.
Hey, I got a little fact.
Die Hard Mission to Moscow.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. Yeah, where are we going to go now? I mean, yeah, surely there's other believable places in America for Bruce Willis to blow up. But that's a weird link for you, Rich. Oh, what was it? What were we just talking about? Oh, yeah, Ben Stiller show. Dweezil Zappa did the music for the Ben Stiller show.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
Did he?
Dweezil Zappa did the theme tune. I remember it. It's like quite a nifty little guitar solo. Yeah, it's like Dweezil Zappa, early 90s. Yeah.
Well, in the sketch, he says he's leaning against the kind of the shopping, what do you call it, like the aisle thing, and he's in there and he's running out of one-liners and he's going, "Think, damn it, think." Funny.
Ben Stiller, before he became a massive movie star, was actually a really funny dude. I remember when he used to do them MTV Awards. Did you ever see the one where he played Tom Cruise's stunt double?
That's brilliant. That's really good. So good.
Absolutely amazing. He's like, we finish each other's. It's like sentences. Oh, it's fucking brilliant.
And then when he says, "What if they get so far jumping off the bikes?" Then he stops and looks at camera and says, "Looks like this mission just got a hell of a lot more impossible." And then he says, "Go away" to another John Woo, and he goes, "You should just call this movie Kicking Impossible." And then just walks away. It's like, and then Tom Cruise says, "Sometimes we don't even ask for him to turn up, and he'll just turn up anyway."
Yeah, it's really funny.
It's so
really
funny.
That was one of my favourite things about the football actually last night. Is I don't know if you noticed that the ball at the start of the game was being delivered in a remote control car.
Yeah,
so it's like this remote control car. So I don't know whether it was because of COVID or whether it was just.
No, it's because Volkswagen wanted to sell some electric cars. It was
that's it. Okay,
Volkswagen car, and the adverts for that car were on the.
That makes way. I wasn't looking at that. Made way more sense. But Tom Cruise was at the game last night, and I must have seen about 100 comments on Twitter of people going, "Is Tom Cruise driving that car?" Because it's this fucking tiny little car.
It's funny you say that because me and Joe did a bit last night. We did our own commentary to the game, and we really made each other laugh because I'm like, "Is that Tom Cruise?" And Joe went, "He's sat next to David Beckham." I'm like, "Well, that makes sense, the mates." And I could just imagine him going, "Hey, Dave. Is this it? Is it finished now?" And Dave's like, "Oh, for fuck's sake. Why did I bring Tom Cruise? He doesn't understand football and he's just happy to be there." He's like, "Yeah, this is good. The atmosphere is amazing."
So Tom Cruise, because he has to stay in shape, he has a favourite cake, and I can't remember what this favourite cake is, but it's like cream and vanilla and all this sort of stuff. No, it's like cream and vanilla and all this ridiculous stuff. And basically, every Christmas, he has a list of people that he sends this cake to. And do you remember Alex?
I know what you're going to say, Alex.
Yeah. Alex is one of his one of the people.
Hang on a minute. Is he sending him the cake so they eat it for him because he's scared of getting fat?
He can't eat it.
He's got a list of
people that he really likes.
Yeah.
And Alex is one of those people.
Okay, so he's sort of like
every time he does publicity over here, he asks for him to interview him, doesn't he?
Yeah. So I bumped into Alex last week actually, because like we started out doing stand up together, and he lives just up in. I'm not going to say where he lives, but he lives in London, and bumped into him, and we were mentioning that story actually last week. But yeah, it's like a list of like 20 odd people that he gives it to because of Alex does all the stuff for Sky Movies or Sky Cinema.
Can you get him on the show? On a chat. Me and Webb saw him on Way to Cannes, didn't we, Webb?
We did.
Remember?
Yeah, you told me that.
Didn't he? You recognised that we had a little chat with him, but he wasn't interested. We weren't famous, so he was like, "Fuck you guys."
He was busy with his lady, I think.
Yeah, man. Wasn't he with? Didn't he do some of those gigs, the Peter Kay gigs as well, bringing us nicely back around? Was he there around that time?
No, Alex. No. So I met Alex with Lummy actually doing the comedy checkout, the comedy store. The Do You Think You're Funny Awards for Edinburgh. So You Think You're Funny Awards, and that was with the comedy store. And that's where we met Alex. And then Alex and I were heading back to the same place. And then we met each other at the Dry Dock. And we both used to do comedy at the Dry Dock there. And then we used to tour around together and stuff. And then I didn't see him for ages. And then I got a call from a comedy promoter in Sheffield. And he was like, "Oh, Alex Zane says you're his like comedy buddy and used to gig around. I need a couple of gigs. Do a couple of gigs. He's doing them. Do you want to do them?" And they were in Sheffield and Chesterfield. And yeah, that was when Peter Kay was a bit of an a-hole. So yeah, kind of does come full circle in a weird way. Gents, have you got anything that you want to say before we finish the show up tonight?
Thanks for letting us waffle at you, guys.
Yeah, thanks, guys. It was a waffly show tonight. It was all over the place in terms of.
I miss you so much.
Nat's not watching at this point. She came for the glory and then she fucked off. Come on.
That is true. There is a bit of truth to there. She came and said, "I want to see my boys." Not Webby and Rich.
And then fucked off.
I'll be on in two.
Yeah, maybe that was it. She thought it was just better last week when I went.
Coconut cake.
That's it. Nice one, Big T. Yeah.
It's a bit presumptuous of him. I'd be like, "Do you know what, Tom Cruise? I'm not even keen on coconut cake. You fucking eat it."
Yeah,
thanks,
fatten up.
Just send me the money.
Show me the money. Yeah, exactly. Show me the money, Tom Cruise. Is there anything else that you want to say before we finish up, gents?
God bless America.
Anything that you want to plug this week? Have you got your radio show?
Yes. Tomorrow night, I'm doing the music from the films of Tom Hanks.
Ooh. Nice. That's going to be quite cool, actually.
Fucking long show, won't it?
It's not going to be that long. It's going to be an hour.
Hey, can I request something? It's probably on your list anyway. The Burbs.
Tom, man.
I knew it. I don't know if we've talked about this on the show before, but back in the day when we were at college and we had to do GCSE dance, Lummy did a dance performance to that, and it was my favourite thing ever. It was fucking ridiculous.
We all did a dance performance to it. What are you on about me?
That was the one with the chessboard.
You were the genius behind it, and we were all like,
wasn't it the one we did with the chessboard? Chess pieces.
And we were laid on the floor as well.
We were laid on the floor, giggling in the middle of the performance because it was so fucking stupid.
Middle of the exam, and everyone was like, "We fucking got."
Why have we not got? Why have we not got video of that? Why have we?
Do you know why? Because we were bloody big heads and we never recorded ourselves doing silly shit.
That was hilarious. I remember that was me. That was us three and Matt Jackson, wasn't it?
Well, the music from that.
Richard Turpritz was in it, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
And I think Darren was as well. I think we all did it.
All of
them. Jesus Christ.
Right, the music from that dance piece is on tomorrow night. It's the end credits. I put it on the end credits of the show tomorrow night.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Well, you've definitely got a viewer for tomorrow night then, Lummy. Nathan, is there anything that you want to say? Anything that's going on? Anything you want to share?
We've kept these good people long enough.
Yes, we have. Well, in which case, thank you very much to Pop Not Broth. Thank you to Big T Moore. Thank you to Martin. Thank you to M, though. Thank you to the Cool Gang. Thanks, everybody, for joining in, leaving comments for the show. It makes the community bigger and it makes us all smarter as a collective. If you are, cheers, Big T. Thanks very much, man.
Pretty sure it makes us all smell better as well.
It makes us smell a lot better, yeah. Because I stink normally, but when I'm around nicer smelling people, that rubs off on you a little bit. No, that was going to be my last one. Thank you, Nat. There would be no show without you. Let's just face it. But folks, if you want to support the show, just share the shit out of our material. That is what makes people come.
Oh,
go on.
I forgot.
That's what makes people come. That's what makes people come.
If anybody wants some free tickets to a gig at 7 Arts on Wednesday night, they can have some.
Nice. 7 Arts comedy checkouts. What time?
Me up. 7:30 start.
7:30 start. Fantastic. Well, ladies and gents, thank you very, very much. Go over to our Twitter feed at It's All Geek Twit and give us a follow and send us a message. But all hail Nat. I agree. And until next week, I've been Gittins, that's been Lummy, and it's been Webby. And we're going to see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.